than just a bunch of toxic males. It's Toxic Femininity, brought to you by Midnight's Edge, with Alora OG Star Wars girl, Geeky Candy, and your hostess with the mostest, Mary Mayhem.
Happy Memorial Day and welcome once again to Toxic Femininity here on Midnight's Edge, where you can find the most toxic ladies in the Fandom Menace. That's right.
It's not just a bunch of toxic males, it's a whole lot of toxic girls too.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So we got a whole lot of toxic talk tonight.
And we've got some toxicity to talk about tonight. Let's not waste any time. Let's start at the introductions. That beautiful image you see down there, that's OG Star Wars Legends gal Alora herself. Hello.
Hi there, Tom and Lorena and Mary. How are you guys doing?
I'm
Good.
so freaking ready right now.
It's Blur's Day. I have no fucking clue anymore.
I was like social distancing. I don't give a damn what day it is kind of attitude right now.
It's just a day.
Yes, we're here. We're here. And we are so happy. We have a lot of information to bring you guys and a lot to talk about, especially with Star Wars and the Snyder Cut and all that. So thank you guys for tuning in. And you can find me here and you can find me on my channel, OG Star Wars, and on Twitter. So thank you guys. So
Bam!
There you go.
Finished a stream, right?
yes, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done.
I think we're all beasts in that respect. And to her right, I guess, Lorena Creole, how are you doing?
I am doing very, very, very well, Tom. Very well, and glad to be here with all of you and with our amazing, amazing, awesome chat.
Absolutely. And of course, to my left, I think. I don't know how this works anymore.
Somewhere. She's somewhere.
Last but definitely not least, the hostess with the mostest, the mistress of ceremonies herself, the badass Mary B.
Yeah, I see you, Annabelle, in the chat. Hey, old girls and furry. Right out of here with that mess. We haven't even started yet, people. We have a long way to go.
And we're already on the furries.
Yeah. We haven't even started yet. We have a long way to go, and you're already starting with that shit tonight. Whatever. Hi, guys.
Speaking of, yes, go ahead.
I am Mary B. I am the mistress of mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official furry. So,
You heard it here, folks.
whatever.
This is where it started.
We have so much shit. I've just stopped fighting it. Like, I don't even have, like, the closest thing I have to furry paraphernalia is I got a Chewbacca onesie, right? But that's like literally down in storage. I haven't seen it in over a year. So
She buried her furry.
I buried it.
Are you repressing it?
Somebody been
With all
asked how
the
that
dead
happened.
dogs.
Oh my god.
Before we got started, we already got a super chat from Stargate 404. He sends $5. One of you ladies want to read it?
Stargate 404 says, you heard of Clementine Ford? Share a pic of what a 14-year-old on Twitter said men can't die fast enough from the bug, but we're all toxic and for wanting good Star Wars. So we've got some toxic talk for you guys tonight.
Yes, we do.
I did see that. And yeah, that's
Locked and loaded.
ridiculous.
It is, the hypocrisy is mind-blowing from these
I know.
people, right?
It's
like,
crazy.
do you live in a real world? I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
So,
Culture
Really
Casino
don't.
sent us a Shiba dog with a big smile on his face, tilting his head. And the reason he sent that was a furry sticker for my favorite furry Mary.
okay.
Bum, bum, ba-bum. I don't have my sounds up. Stephen Walton, how you doing, sir? That is the minister, the historian, the author, Stephen Walton.
Well,
Hello, darling.
I see a little chat here from JGD Panzer, talking about the Snyder Cut sucking. So that's neither here nor there for tonight's
We'll get to that.
discussion. We will get to that, but that's a whole different topic. We're gonna be talking about the toxicity of stuff tonight. So.
Yes.
We got a couple more super chats to get to. Does somebody want to hit this Willy Woodward, and then I'll jump back to the Crazy-Eyed Jedi? There's a method to my
I will
madness.
take it. Or Lorena, go ahead since you already jumped on it.
Okay, sure. Okay, so from Willie Woodward, $20. Thank you so much to you lovely, gorgeous, awesome ladies, hello. If I were single, I'd totally get shut down by you. And Tom, respect, much love. Dude, Mary and furry face wouldn't kick her out of bed.
Hey,
Oh my goodness.
you never know. Give me a shot.
I'm
just
just
kidding.
saying, I don't have a furry face. Okay. Like, this is as close. I got a lot of hair. I don't know if that.
Crazy Eyed Jedi sends us a 99-cent super sticker. As I said, there's a method to my madness. He sends us a little smiley face with sunglasses, but I saved him for last because he is the first person to do what we asked, and that was, he kind of cheated because he's not wearing the shirt, but he's wearing it now as he's listening. He had tagged us in a tweet, and he's got his Toxic Femininity t-shirt he ordered. So there you go, folks. Whoop, there it went. It lasted as long as it lasted. But yeah, if you guys want to get your own Toxic Femininity t-shirt, follow the link in the description below and check that out. You can get all kinds of things, hoodies, t-shirts, tanks, and more with your Toxic Femininity brand right on it, or Midnight's Edge for that matter. And we got another amazing super chat. Holy cats.
Wow.
Mr. Moody Blue.
Nice.
Yeah, Mr. Moody Blue won. It's the Australian 50, right? That's what that is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, everyone. Looking luscious as always. Have some pennies for your thoughts.
I got
Well,
lots of
you'll
ideas.
you'll get hopefully enough thoughts to cover that tonight.
I think we have adequate thoughts to cover that tonight. We have lots of thoughts on
We
a
have
plethora.
plenty.
Yes, a plethora of
So
topics.
you are gonna-
I actually really
you are
like
gonna
all of
get
our
the money.
topics. This evening, seriously, we've got like 3 legit topics for you, like
Yes.
full-fledged. There wasn't even much question necessarily about what we were going to talk about tonight. Like sometimes we bat a few different ideas around, some stuff gets shut down. No, it was pretty straightforward what we were going to hit tonight, and so I'm pretty excited to talk about it. Also, I'm a dolphin, so
What did you say? Hit it? What?
we're going to hit it hard tonight.
What?
Well, I almost followed up. It's going to be easy peasy as well. So that wouldn't have worked out as well.
Mhm.
Hey, phrasing!
Indeed.
We got a lot of good stuff. Lots of good stuff coming up.
Culture Casino sends not only a $2 super chat, but a super sticker as well. The super sticker was a Shiba dog writing with a brush, writing number 1 on a piece of paper. Thank you so much, Culture. And he also says with $2 for my favorite OG Star Wars artist. I'm assuming that he
thank
means
you.
Alora.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There you go. Getting tons of love for the ladies in the chat here, guys.
My
We
Luke
appreciate it.
Skywalker.
Love
And
you
today
guys.
is Star Wars Day, A New Hope. Our Star Wars came out, and Return of the Jedi. And as you see back here, Luke from Return of the Jedi. So there you go.
And he sends another one for my future ex-wife of Steve.
Yes, for those who don't know, author Stephen Walton, I'm his future ex-wife.
I dropped Scott over here. I laughed so hard.
I don't understand why you don't just
little
cut
Teen
out
Wolf
the
character.
middleman and not get married, Lorena.
Yeah, just get it over with already.
Oh,
I think
you know what? I just enjoy the legal obligation to provide me with certain services and penalties for breaking said contract. So
There you
I'm
go.
smart about it.
There you go.
She's looking for all that juicy book money, right?
This is why I do this every fucking week. Terminus ass send us $2. I'll get this one. Mary with a wolf is proof enough that she's a furry. That's very true.
My lefty, guys. Shit.
And one for Mary
Right.
before we get to
Good
the
for you.
damn news. Let's get to that damn news.
I gotta say it right. Moo! Moo!
There we go.
And we want to throw out another shout out once again to Crazy Eyed Jedi for sending us that pic of the Toxic
Yes.
Femininity t-shirt. If you
Thank
guys
you.
want to
Thanks.
do the same, we will definitely show it off here on the show. We prefer seeing you in it, but if you want to, you don't want to be on screen, we understand. So that's totally cool.
All right.
What do you say, ladies?
Let's do this. I'm good
Go
with
for
this.
it.
Let's
Do
get
it.
to the damn news.
Oh my god, guys, we have some some doozies for you tonight. So, the Snyder Cut is a thing. And for all of the people out there who denied its very existence, I mean, you had reasons too, okay? Not gonna lie. There were plenty of reasons to deny. Not that the Snyder Cut, I suppose, existed, because cuts of movies exist all over the place. And of course, they knew how much of it had been shot. But in terms of it actually being done, they still have, about $20 million worth of work or so to do on this. So lots of work still to be done on it. But it is going to be coming out on HBO Max. And with all of the rejoicing that has been around it, and look, you can land on whatever side of the Snyder Cut. I personally have made my thoughts on it pretty clear. I think it's, in terms of benefit to the DCEU, I think it's kind of pointless. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a good movie, and I don't care for Snyder's vision. That being said, I rejoice with my fellow fandom members that they got the win, right? They got the win, right?
Absolutely.
They got the win. Well, we're not allowed to have anything around here.
We can't have nice things.
Can't have shit. No. We're not allowed to have shit around this place.
God damn it, Karen. Sorry, that was reflexive.
I want to talk to your manager.
Yes.
Nobody's allowed to have anything around here. So why releasing the Justice League Snyder Cut sets a dangerous, guys, you ready for this? A dangerous precedent. Now, look, I've read this article. I don't see anywhere where they point out anything that might lead one to believe that it's a dangerous precedent being set. I see them bitching a lot.
I hear a lot of pearl clutching going on.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's get into this. So this is from
Get your pearls out, ladies.
Oh, yeah. I do have my pearls. I'm going to clutch my pearls. So look, like I said, I'm not even a Snyder Cut person, right? That's not me, but I acknowledge wholeheartedly the win that this is for fandom, right? Because when studios, when creatives, when they listen to fans and they give fans what they ask for, this is a good thing, right? This is, I don't really understand an argument against it. Like, how could you possibly not? Well, they say some asinine shit, and this is not the only article like this. There was an article as well from Vanity Fair. There have been multiple articles at this point talking about the toxic Snyder fan base, right? So let's go ahead and we'll get into this. So while it happens, Zack Snyder's cut of his failed superhero team-up movie Justice League will see a release on Warner Media's direct-to-consumer streaming platform HBO Max sometime in 2021. Members of the movement who have been hectoring Warner, hectoring? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up that word. I don't think that's a real word. I was pretty sure heckling, maybe heckling.
I think heckling. Whoever's supposed to edit this, you get an F. You really do.
Is hectoring a word? Hold on. I need to know before I shoot my fat
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay.
Hectoring.
So hectoring is a word. It's talking in a bullying way, but it's a bizarre word to use. I suppose they were virtue signaling on their giant vocabulary here, so that's fine.
So would Hector mean bully then?
Yeah, but essentially. So that was, you could have just said bullying.
Well, you know what? They figured they'd use that $10 word instead of a $2 one.
Right. Let's show off our giant vocabulary here. All right. So those who've been hectoring Warner Brothers, fucking Collider, to release this version of the movie see it as a giant win. Everyone else should be worried about what it means for the rest of cinema. Collider, I thought you were meant to be the voice of fans. Isn't that been like, haven't you built a lot of this off, like community and the ability to like hear fans speak and to get in the discussion? I thought that's who you were, Collider. I must have misunderstood. I'm so sorry. So the saga of Snyder's Justice League starts long before the internet began crying out for the Snyder Cut. The production of the movie was fraught, and Warner Brothers started second-guessing their decision to go all in on Snyder once Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice became a commercial disappointment. And it was a commercial disappointment. Like, it was a really big disappointment. They expected that movie to make like over $1 billion and want to make it what, like 650, I think it was, or something like that. I could be thinking of Justice League numbers there, but it wasn't good. It didn't go over well. And again, I will reiterate this. I'm not a Snyderite, right? I'm not a Snyderite. All of that being said,
Okay, I need to stop you for a second. Stephen Walton has spoken. A
Yeah,
male Karen is a Hector. I would vote for Dylan or Dakota as well, but hey, we're gonna go with that for now because he has spoken.
Oh, that's funny.
I like that. I do like that.
Yes, Hector.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cut through a lot of this bull here because they're basically giving you context or pretext here for the actual scenario, right? Snyder fans wanted the release, right? They wanted the release because Zack Snyder and other members of the team lauded that this was a thing. It existed. And Zack Snyder did a great deal to kind of put this out there. And who could blame him, right? You can't really blame Zack Snyder for putting in all of this work, effort, love, energy, blood, sweat, and tears into this project. And then he has a personal tragedy. And then they go and bastardize his film. Right. So they're kind of giving you this sort of snarky sideways context for that. Right. So then it gets into what they're talking about the fans doing. So fans imagined that the rough cut of Justice League that Snyder submitted to the studio was better than the one that was released into theaters in November of 2017. They shared the hashtag on Twitter, bought billboards in California and New York, flew planes with a giant sign that said release the Snyder Cut. All of these things are perfectly fine. I don't see what the problem is here, right? Trailing behind it. They even got corporations like Subway to contribute to the cause. Worst of all, guys, this is where this gets batshit crazy. They cloaked their activity, which grew into something of a public nuisance, under the shadow of charity. That's right, guys.
So they're cloaked under a shadow of charity?
They gave money to charities. So they regularly contributed to suicide prevention foundations.
I gotta say this much. I've been booted out of the Collider Facebook group, the official Collider Facebook group, because I didn't bow down and say that Zack Snyder was Jesus. And I said that was a little too far to go, claiming that Zack Snyder was Jesus. Wow. So one of these Snyder fans lost their shit and complained to one of their buddies higher up and got me booted out of the group, okay? Whoa. Now, granted, this was before I was anybody. Now,
well, sure, they can be annoying. I told Abu Nas to
let me finish. I was gonna say, I have dealt with a lot of bullshit from some Snyder fans, okay, over the years, especially being Midnight's Edge. We've gotten a lot of flack from them in the past. Now that is just a few individuals. Since in the last few years, I have met some of the nicest Snyder fans ever. So I have learned through that interaction and other interactions, you cannot judge an entire fan base
based off of
on a few individuals.
Exactly.
And that, and it would be hypocritical of me to do so. Yeah.
Well, especially when that fan base is contributing hundreds of thousands of dollars to charity like suicide prevention foundations. So then the spin that they're trying to put on this, and this is legitimately mind-blowing for me. Who the hell takes we do this all the time. We do this all the time with things that we love. We raise charity. We raise money for charities in order to bring awareness to things, right? And people will raise money for charities that they believe in order to, like, what is it? The Peter Mayhew Foundation, right? Like that's you associate that with Star Wars, right? So Star Wars gets a good rap. That doesn't mean that the Peter Mayhew Foundation is a bad thing, right? No, it's a good thing. It's an inherently wonderful thing. And so sitting here talking about how they've concealed what they were actually doing, which is bullying everyone, right? No, they were giving money to charity, and they won't shut up about the Snyder Cut, but that's what fans do.
Exactly. Right? We're passionate. Fans are passionate about what we like. We invest a lot of our time, energy, money. We make connections with people in the fandom. And look, every fandom is going to have their fringe group of the ones that aren't all there. And they're just, we've all got every fandom has that little corner. But
every fandom is going to have their Karens and their Hectors.
Karens and their Hectors, and they are riding the crazy train until the wheels fall off. We all know that. But it's like like with Collider, like with Vanity
Well,
Fair,
Collider's supposed to
with,
understand fans. That's what blows my mind is your Collider. I thought you understood fandom. I thought you understood passion. I thought you understood being deeply invested into something, right? Regardless of whether or not you agree that the Snyder Cut should or shouldn't be released, regardless of whether or not you give two flying shits about the Snyder Cut, you fucking Collider. I thought you were about the fans. I thought that was what you understood. But isn't that why you're here? Isn't that why you exist, Collider? Is to amplify this kind of culture's conversation? Isn't that the point of your platform? You should understand the mentality here of fans who are incredibly passionate about something. And can they be annoying at times? Fuck yeah, they're annoying as shit. But so am I at times. I wouldn't shut the hell up when The Last Jedi came out, and I felt so sort of, I guess, slighted by everything, right?
Yeah.
This is fan culture. We don't shut up about this stuff.
No. Especially when we're displeased.
Exactly. And that goes for the example with Legends. We this is something similar with Legends. All of us fans like helped have these billboards put up. It's a fan effort, just like the Snyder Cut. It's a fan effort to see something that we truly love come out. And so this is a victory for fans in a sense that if we can go and, ask for something and be passionate about it, and they may listen, and listening to fans is something that is beneficial for these companies, no matter what type of product they're bringing in. And this is what Collider is failing to see, is that even them as fans, they invest in these companies. And so now they're saying that we're toxic because we invest in it and we want something to come out, or we want to see something different, or we want to see something like recontinued like Legends. So I don't get this mentality.
Yeah, I don't really get it either. Well, but this is what they do. So this is actually this is the exact same tactic though that the SJWs took when it came to us Star Wars fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were vocal about something, and yes, you do have those outliers who are dicks about stuff, right? If anybody's telling you to go kill yourself, they're an asshole, and that person is toxic, right? But labeling an entire group of people, an entire movement, a movement that, by the way, contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars to suicide prevention, something that is legitimately a plague on society, right? Because there are people who commit suicide left and right. Okay. And these things can be prevented with education and reaching out in a measure of compassion. Right. To claim that a group like that is inherently toxic because they are simultaneously passionate is the height of insincerity, right? You're the one who's cloaking what you're saying and doing right now, right? You're cloaking your words because a couple of people said some shit you didn't like. Right? Yeah. A couple of people said some shit you didn't like. Therefore, all of the good that this movement did is moot and an invalid point. Doesn't matter anymore. That's insincere. To treat that like it's nothing, like it doesn't matter, and like the way that they feel about these their thoughts and their fandom and their passion, as though that doesn't matter. That's insincere. So it goes on here. Let me go ahead and we'll scroll down a bit here. So they bullied those who suggested maybe that the Snyder version, which would require tens of millions of dollars to finish the audio and visual effects, might actually be the worst version. Well, actually, hi, I'm one of those girls. I'm one of those people who was like, hey, I think that the Snyder version, because I never denied that it existed, because you'd have to be silly, I think, to deny that it exists altogether. Because of course, for a movie that was shot, and they were into post-production on, which is the situation with this. Of course, it existed. It just wasn't complete, right? But I did question whether or not it was the better version, right? Hi, so that's me you're talking about right there. Hi, that's me. They bullied those who suggested that maybe the Snyder version, which would require tens of millions of dollars to finish audio and visual effects, might actually be the worst version. Guess what? I've had nothing but wonderful conversations with my Snyder friends who love it. In fact, I got a call from Abu Nas the other day after my stream over with John Talks, and because he knows that we disagree about it, and we had a wonderful off air for no one else to see, just him and I, just discussing this stuff. off-air discussion about everything, right? About what we thought, what we felt, how we believed, because he's my friend and I'm his friend, and so we care what each other thinks. Believing something and passionately debating it is not bullying. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And you don't get more passionate than Abu does. Like, you don't get more passionate than Abu does. That's not possible.
Absolutely.
So I wouldn't call that bullying. I would call that passionate debate, which they do engage in, and they can be a bit snarky about, but I wouldn't call that bullying, right?
No, having discussions like that is a part of fandom. You know, even with Star Trek fandom, the classic, who's a better captain, Kirk, Picard? I think it's Cisco. But those types of discussions, they get heated, but at the end of the day, you know, we're all fans. You know?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm kind of, I was actually, that was something I was saying to Abu, was I'm thrilled when we wind up in a situation where we have something we don't all agree on, right?
Yeah.
And we get into those debates, because it's that ability to passionately engage it, passionately debate it, passionately bring what you know from two different sides and get into it. That's not bullying, you dipshit. That's a debate, you moron. I'm sorry you don't know how to listen to an opposing opinion and walk away with a measure of respect for a person you don't agree with. Just because you don't know how to do that doesn't mean we don't know how to do that. So you can fuck out of here with that shit, because as far as I'm concerned, you're half retarded anyway, right?
We're the voice of the fans. We're gonna have magnified fandom and what are the fandom things? But then when the fandom gives what they want, that's terrible. It's toxic.
Retards. So anyway, sorry.
Goodness.
So, who would want to watch a half-finished movie anyway? The skeptics wondered. They bullied those who thought the theatrically released version was good. Actually, no. Again, that's me. I fully admitted that's a guilty pleasure of mine. I've said this multiple times. I enjoyed Justice League. Literally, no one has said shit to me about it. They'll just be like, "Okay."
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to send it to you, Lorena. I know what I am.
You're like, I own it. I own this shit. I am.
I am what I am, and that's all that I am. Mary's a big old furry. I don't know about being a furry, but I sleep with olive oil, so I can't see much.
So it goes on here, because this is a bit of this is a hell of a long article here. So we're gonna try to cut this down a bit and not necessarily get into everything here. So
It's just a bunch of meandering. Oh, you whiny bitch.
yes, well, they call everybody whiny or blah 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 blah. So
Yeah.
Snyder,
You're whining about calling people whining. Very good.
yeah, you have room, right, Collider?
Spend a 3-page article whining about people whining. Exactly. The hypocrisy and the irony of it all.
God.
So they go on. As Snyder eventually began stoking the movement, and of course he stoked the movement. This was his baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was his passion project. This was the thing he poured his love, like I said earlier, blood, sweat, and tears into. Of course he stoked this movement. He wanted to see it released. Imagine, and this is me stepping outside of myself here, right? Because I've made this abundantly clear. I do not give a rat's ass about the Zack Snyder version of this movie. That being said, there's a human being on the other side of this conversation here, right? Zack Snyder's a person. Imagine spending years working on a project. You've not only shot everything, but you're now deep into post-production. You got this stuff done, and then you have a personal tragedy take place.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to step away. And they take everything that you worked on, everything that you've poured yourself into, and they hand it over to someone.
Actually, I have to correct you. He didn't have to step away. He was soldiering on forward.
Well,
Warner Brothers fired him.
Yes, they didn't give him. They refused to give him the time that he needed to finish the project.
No, they shit canned his ass because he said he couldn't get it done in time. They wanted their fucking bonuses. They brought on Joss Whedon because they didn't like his cut.
Right.
So they did him dirty from top to bottom.
I'm
And
no,
I understand what you're saying, Mary, but I got to be clear on this. He was never going to leave because of his daughter. He was more than willing to finish the movie.
Right. What they didn't do was give him the time that he needed. So he did have
They used that as an excuse to boot his ass.
He had to
is what
step
they
away,
did.
but not because he wanted to, but because they wouldn't have any measure of decency in terms of waiting for him to deal with family matters, right? To give him the time that he needed, because Warner Brothers wanted what they wanted, when they wanted, how they wanted it, and they didn't, and they got cold feet, right? They got cold feet after that.
I'm trying to say it's even more salacious than that, though, Mary. They literally used that as an excuse to fire him.
Yes.
They were going to fire him regardless because the original Snyder version was so poorly. When they all saw it, they hated the shit out of it. And this was all after BBS came out and the backlash before, mind you, the extended cut came to video. So they're like, fuck you, you're done. We'll use your kid as an excuse. We'll bring in Joss to finish it. They did him dirty from top to fucking bottom on that. Whether I like the movie or not is inconsequential. Whether anybody likes the movies or not is inconsequential.
Besides the point, right?
It needs to be clearly pointed out here that Warner Brothers, at the time, its top brass, they were more worried about getting their motherfucking bonuses than anything, because they had to have that movie out by November.
Right on time. Yeah.
Right. So imagine being Zack Snyder. This is your baby. This is what you poured your blood, sweat, love, and tears into, right? And they take it and they hand it over to someone else who then bastardizes it, right? Yeah. And on top of all of the personal tragedy and all of that jazz, right? So imagine being him in that situation. Of course, he stoked this movement. And of course, so did the people who were in this film who Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot. Of course they did that. So it seemed like a profound waste of everyone's time and further evidence that the only tool in this movement arsenal was aggressive, unpleasant forcefulness. No, that's a misrepresentation of the travesty that took place here. Right? Okay, Collider. Sure, Jan. That's cool. So once again, let's misrepresent this, right? So the fact that Warner Brothers has not only acknowledged this incredibly obnoxious fan uproar, this is where we're getting to. This is the meat, right?
Lovely choice of words there.
Yeah. The fact that Warner Brothers has not only acknowledged this incredibly obnoxious fan uproar, but also agreed to, per their demands, #release the Snyder Cut, is mystifying and potentially dangerous. The message is clear. If you bitch and moan enough, chances are that the studio might not only hear you, but agree with you. The fan uproar, which was at the very least annoying, and yeah, I've owned that up front. Yes, they're fucking annoying at times. And at the very worst, especially on Twitter, actively threatening, oh, you know what? Here's actively threatening. Go fuck yourself, right? Like, this is retarded. People are so thin-skinned. People are so thin-skinned these days that they cannot take a differing opinion, right? They can't deal with it. If you throw shit on the internet and somebody throws shit back at you and you lose your shit, you can get right the shit over it as far as I'm concerned, right? Because people are going to disagree with you. And if you get into it with a Snyder fan, facts are this: they're going to go with you. They're going to go. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to like it. You do not have to like it. But don't call them toxic, right? Don't call a person toxic because they're passionate about what they believe in. So, has been vindicated. Their methods have been approved. Everything that they did had a purpose because Warner Brothers has finally given them what they want. We've seen the shadow of the #release the Snyder Cut movement rear its ugly head recently with the release the Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Fans convinced that J.J. Abrams had an original.
Wait, hold up. Are they trying to equate the two?
Yes.
They are not the same fan base.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're trying to control us. So they have to lump us all in there together so they can demonize us all together.
Not only is it not the same fan base, but the freaking J.J. Abrams cut probably doesn't really exist. I mean,
probably. It's not worth it. Not worth it.
Even Star Wars fans, right? Like, we're legitimate Star Wars fans and we don't give a shit. Because you can't really make it much better.
Yeah, it's like you want to go deeper into shit or just shallow, just wallow in it, So depending on which way you want to go with JJ, no, it's not worth it.
I mean, you can only polish a turd, but so much.
There's no way that you can. And look, I think the same thing personally of Justice League. I don't think that it's possible to. God, I'm gonna get slammed for this. I don't want to polish a turd, right? So I don't care.
Well, the thing, Mary, is like when that JJ cut came out, I was like, forget this. No, I'm not even. Nope. I wasn't even behind that as well. So I mean, it's almost the same deal. If you look at it in that type of light, is that do you want that to come out? It's not going to make a bit of difference, and that's how I seen that. And I think people who are like, I support your cause and fandom speaking up, but I don't really follow the the Snyder cut. I think it's okay to not agree to disagree. That's what I believe, because that was my end with the J.J. Abrams cuts.
Well, and look, there's a big difference here. You might have a couple people throwing around a hashtag release the JJ cut on Twitter, but there's a difference between fans who, get billboards, hire planes that trail banners, to donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to charity. There's a very big difference between throwing around some hashtags on Twitter and doing what I think you have to admire about the Snyderites, and that was that they organized themselves. They genuinely organized this into a real movement, that you putting those two things together is freaking apples and oranges. They're not the same thing. And to put them side by side, some people throwing around a hashtag on Twitter and lumping that in with the genuine movement that was hashtag release the Snyder cut is, again, insincere at best, right? Yeah. So this is not a reasonable comparison to be making here, Collider. You're being insincere, and anyone who's capable of even the slightest amount of critical thought can acknowledge that. You shitheads. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this up here.
Yay, my boy Ords is here to hate on men.
Hey, Ords. Ords needs to check his DMs, you dick.
I love him.
Damn it, Ords.
Love you. So
it's not his fault that he answers DMs like a stoner.
Kind of is, though.
My guess is that he's got lots of answers just sitting there and he forgot to hit send.
I
know the struggles he has. Shush.
Struggle's real.
Oh, damn.
I thought I answered you. Oh.
Nope. So blah, blah, blah. So convinced that J.J. Abrams had an original cut that was far superior to the one that Disney and Kathy Kennedy, I guess you know her, released into theaters, began whining to hashtag release the J.J. cut. Yeah, some dumbasses on Twitter whined about release the JJ cut for like 2 seconds. Let's compare that. I've talked to several people involved with the film who said that it was a trial to get any cut ready for its December release. So the idea that an entirely separate version exists is laughable. Yeah, probably not though.
Yeah.
Look, that depends on how you define a cut here though, right? Because there are constantly cuts of movies. They make new cuts of movies literally every single damn day that they've shot more to add to the movie, right? They throw stuff together. They're constantly working. And literally, they said that they were working on post-production while they were on set filming, right?
They're still working on Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, exactly.
It depends on how you define a cut here. So I would say there probably is something resembling an Abrams cut. I just don't think it matters.
We almost got to do this now. Maybe if I wasn't a man, I'd be able to check my DM, says Ordsborg. The first step is admitting it. There
we go.
I love this. So like any good conspiracy theory, the fact that it couldn't be true doesn't really matter. I love how they subliminally
yes.
are still poking the Snyder cut here. It's a conspiracy theory. But the shit's coming out next year. What do you want?
They even announced it on my TV channel about it coming out on HBO, and it's already been broadcasted over the media, over the news and stuff, even on my end here in California.
Exactly. And AT&T just hit me up with trying to get me to increase my mobile plan. And if I do, I get HBO Max for free with the upcoming Snyder Cut. Yeah.
So I'm gonna need you to holler at me later for like
They
you can have
I signed up for it before this show. I signed up for it before this business. So I mean, and I just did it because I knew Warner HBO Max is going to have everything.
To be fair, here, what they're saying is #release the JJ cut is a conspiracy theory. But likening this, you are the ones who are drawing the parallels here, right? You're likening #release the JJ cut to #release the Snyder cut. You're as good as calling it a conspiracy theory, except it's not a conspiracy theory. It happened. It's coming. Do they have some work to do on it? Sure, of course they do. And would this have ever happened if it weren't for HBO Max coming out? Would this have ever happened? No, probably not. This is a brave new world we're entering here, guys. Streaming services are now making it possible for something like the Snyder Cut to exist, because under any other circumstances, it would not. It would absolutely not exist under any other circumstances, because of the work that they would have to put into it and the money that they would have to put into it before they could release it. And without having a platform to release it onto where they would make the money, it just doesn't make any sense, right? So under any other circumstances, this wouldn't exist. But let me tell you this here right now, okay? Because I guarantee you there's enough of what J.J. Abrams shot that they could probably at least do the same Frankenstein monster that they did for The Rise of Skywalker, that they could put together another cut of the movie, call it the JJ cut, put it on Disney Plus, and probably at least 3 people would be thrilled. So
maybe
3.
Maybe.
So
stop stretching it much, Mary.
I'm trying to be optimistic here. At least 3 people would give a flying fuck. I'm sure of it. So let's just stop acting like you can't put together cuts of movies. They do it all the time, right? There are different versions of. What was it? He had like a 4-hour version of the movie, right? And he finally settled on one that was just over 2 hours that he was willing to release. There are director's cuts of things all the time. Stop acting like without a little work you couldn't release a different cut of Rise of Skywalker. I'm not saying it would be better, just like I'm not saying the Snyder cut's going to be any better, but it's there. The tools and the pieces to the puzzle exist. Stop calling it a conspiracy theory, you ignorant fuck. So the idea that Snyder or Abrams have toiled away on some unseen masterpiece is ultimately more comforting than the reality of the situation that they just made lousy movies. Except it exists, you ignorant fuck! The Snyder Cut exists. So it even goes so far as to have a different villain. You've got Darkseid as the villain in the Snyder Cut. Steppenwolf isn't even a thing. You ignorant fuck. Of course it exists. They're gonna release it.
This person is so in such denial. There's like this denial thing. It's like you could tell him the sky is blue and he's like, no, it's purple. It's green.
They're literally talking about the Snyder Cut like it's a conspiracy theory, despite the fact that it's coming out literally next year. You raging moron. So for as long as the movement has raged, Warner Brothers has done the right thing. They've done the right thing and simply ignored them. Well, I tried to ignore them too. So.
Oh, Lord.
The internet already gave them a voice when they shouldn't have had one. Yesterday, the studio gave them something they never expected, but always craved: legitimacy. Except that legitimacy exists independent of whether or not you like it, because the cut existed, right? Even if it wasn't completed, it existed, right? So they were always legitimate. They were always legitimate because they knew it existed. And you don't have to like that. They were always legitimate because guess what? The fucking thing exists. So pipe down over here. So not only will they demand alternate versions of movies more often, I mean, not when it comes to Skywalker, I won't, but their rhetoric will infect the release of this and any other DC property. If Warner Brothers thought that this would quiet them down, it won't. If anything, it will amplify their voices. The entitlement is already unbearable. That's right, guys. You as fans, you have no right to be entitled to asking for anything when it comes to your characters. I don't even agree with this, but I'm glad to see that they gave the fans what they want. Yes, you should amplify the fans' voices. That's a good thing. The entitlement of fans, yeah, because guess what? This doesn't exist without our money. So yeah, fans have some measure of right to entitlement on that. So, and I'll probably break this down. I'll probably leave this here. So you also have to feel for the creative talent involved in trying to fix Snyder's problem. What about feeling for Zack Snyder? How about feeling for Zack Snyder? How about feeling for him? I'm sorry, no, I don't really feel for the creative talent involved in fixing Zack Snyder's problem. Because guess what? They didn't fix it. They didn't fix shit. They didn't fix shit. From Whedon to the countless artists and technicians who labored day and night to meet the release date. Well, you know what they could have done was, release Zack Snyder's version in the first place. That was a studio's call. The studio made a decision to not release the version that Zack Snyder gave. They had their reasons for that. I can even understand the reasons for that, but I don't feel for the creatives. They took that job themselves, right? Zack Snyder didn't ask for a personal tragedy in his family, and he certainly didn't ask to be released from the project. So fuck out of here telling me to feel for the creative talent. You know who I do feel for? I do feel for Zack Snyder as a human being. Yeah, I feel for him. I'm very sorry. I may not like his creative vision, but I feel for him. Absolutely. All day, every day. Fuck yourself, Collider. So it also won't be fun for Matt Reeves, director of the forthcoming The Batman. You know why it won't be fun for Matt Reeves, writer of the forthcoming The Batman? Because fucking Robert Pattinson won't work out.
No.
There's something to that, but I'm not going to say no.
It's a joke, Tom.
No, I'm not kidding. There might be something going down.
Dun,
Well, either talk about it or don't, man.
All I can say is this. I've heard some rumblings. Andre's going to get into this a little bit more in his next editorial, that there is Warner Brothers and the DCEU people, and then there's AT&T. AT&T is the one who said, do this, that we want the Snyder cut.
Yes.
There's a bunch of people at Warner Brothers and those especially who are in charge of the current DCEU who are not a fan of this for various reasons. One most of all being that it undermines Patman. And the rumor is that the people at AT&T aren't too happy with Patman.
Well,
and
maybe
they may not be they may not be disappointed if the movie doesn't pick up after this whole thing is over. So that's all I'm going to say for now. These are rumors and speculation, folks. And Affleck, there may be talks with Affleck, and this I can say because AT&T has actually commented on a few people's posts when it comes to bringing Affleck back. They haven't confirmed things, but they've definitely stirred the speculation pot.
We'll have to take a look at that. So, well, this is the end of the article right here. So, and it would be wise to remember that this is not the case. This is not a case of an artist having his paintbrush taken away from him midway through completing his masterpiece. Except, yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. You can
wow, they not understand it at all. What's going on? They're just talking out of their asses.
Hold on, it gets worse. Listen to the dribble that comes out of this article. Justice League is a corporate product, one designed to sell Happy Meals and bed sheets and pave the way for additional, equally unambitious product. Wow.
Really?
Yep. As far as Collider is concerned, the corporate product that is dribble and mundane and bears with it no real weight or value is perfectly adequate, reasonable for them to aspire to, and fans should not demand better.
Yeah, they just want us to just sit back, shut up, and do what we're told and take
and consume.
Now, the reason I interrupted sorry, go ahead, Laura.
Oh no, I said they just want us to just numb out and consume and not ask any questions or not even value the product that we are consuming, basically.
Yeah, be good.
The reason I brought it up, though, is because this last paragraph here and pretty much most of this article sounds like somebody from within the DCEU ranks right now in Warner Brothers
it sounds
saying
like
this shit.
Here, eat the gruel we give you. And not that I think that the Snyder Cut's going to be any better, but you have to give Snyder this, okay? And I will grant him this, whether you like the movies or not. He tried. He genuinely tried to give a gritty new take on these characters. He tried very hard to root them in, even if you didn't want Superman to be rooted so firmly in the current real world or whatever, right? Even if I felt like that was untrue to the character, you cannot in any way, shape, or form accuse him of not making a sincere attempt to give us something genuine, something real, something gritty, right? To pit Superman against the notion that he would have to murder in order to save others, there's merit there. And you know what it isn't? It isn't a corporate product designed to sell Happy Meals and bed sheets and pave the way for additional equally unambitious products. That's what it's not. So I don't like it. I don't care for it. I don't particularly want it, but you can't pretend it isn't sincere. And I'm sorry, but I'd rather have a sincere product, someone who's genuinely trying to make something worthwhile, than a corporate sellout product any damn day of the week.
Yeah.
Any damn day of the week. So Snyder agreed. Snyder agreed.
Okay, so they're calling this a corporate sellout product.
Well, No. What they're saying is that Justice League is a corporate product, right? So they're not talking about Snyder's Justice League. They're talking about the Justice League we got. You should basically be happy with what's handed to you. So they're saying this isn't about the artist having his paintbrush being taken away from him while he's completing his masterpiece. Justice League is a corporate product, one designed to sell Happy Meals and bed sheets and pave the way for additional equally No, that's the Justice League we got.
That still sounds more like somebody from inside, kind of. This feels
you can't possibly look at what Zack Snyder was trying to make and say that that's what he was shooting for and we should be happy with it. You can't possibly do that. There's no way you can rationally look at what Zack Snyder handed and say that it was just a corporate product that was just designed to sell Happy Meal toys. You can't do that. You can't reasonably do that. Because whether you like his take on it or not, you realize there's passion there.
Well, if anything, it's what's the word? Antithesis? That's the anti.
Yeah, the antithesis.
It's the antithesis of that. I mean, that's one thing. Like, again, you can go back and forth with Snyder fans all day long, like you were saying, Mary. But at the end of the day, it's one thing they're right about is that Snyder wasn't pulling any punches about making his movies more for adults.
Yep.
Like that was genuinely obvious.
Yes.
So to kind of, and I get, that's why I say this sounds like corporate speak.
Yeah,
it's like, no, we're supposed to be selling fucking Happy Meals and sheets with these characters, not making people cry. You know, I mean, granted, I would love, my problem with the Man of Steel and from the start was I went to take, at the time, my girlfriend I'd been with for a while, she had a younger kid, and I pretty much raised him from the time he was 2 till he was like 8 years old. And he was 5 at the time, roughly, or little, maybe 6 or whatever, when Man of Steel came out. And we went to take him, and he cried, so we had to leave because the first few minutes of it were too loud and scary for him. So I was like, well, there's one failure right there. You made a Superman movie that kids can't see. But at the same time,
you can't accuse him of not caring.
No, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. And that's sometimes on the defense of the other side where some Snyder fans don't understand that just because you don't agree with the film or don't feel like it was good or don't like the tone or anything like that doesn't mean I don't necessarily understand those movies. I understand what Snyder was going for. I just don't agree with it. But that doesn't that has nothing to do and doesn't have anything to do with what Warner did to him and him completing his vision.
Absolutely. So and then them trying to paint this as though it's a toxic fandom, that we'll all pay the price for giving them what they want because they're just bullies, right? They're just bullies. No, this was intelligent. The approach that they made to getting this released was a highly orchestrated, organized movement that was well executed, and it's admirable. It's incredibly admirable what they managed to accomplish, and the stars aligned for them. And I'm glad for them. I'm absolutely glad for them. Even if I couldn't give two shits about the actual movie itself, I'm glad to see that the stars aligned, that they did what they needed to do, and to call them bullies. Maybe just grow some thicker skin. Maybe learn how to have a conversation with someone you don't agree with, and be okay with coming out the other side having not changed their mind. How about that? That's an idea. Because you know what? I haven't changed Abu Nas's mind. I haven't changed Ryan Kennels or Lethal Lightnings or Mara Jades or any of the other Snyderites that I know. I haven't changed their minds. And I don't intend to. I don't need to. I don't want to. Right? That's not my job or my goal. I'm just happy to engage in the dialogue, the civil discourse, if you will. So if you can't do that, Collider, because they've all been capable of doing that with me. If you can't do that, they're not the problem. You are.
Well, and it bothers me because there's a big difference here. And again, I'm not trying to bring Snyder fans into this again on the negative side, but there seems to have been a problem for a while where there was a line drawn where it didn't matter whether or not somebody said that it doesn't exist or we're never going to see it, because that's two completely different things. Right. And that's kind of where I went after Film Gob a little bit. It's like, dude, I never said it didn't exist. I just said that we're not going to get it unless... And you took me out of context and didn't put in the unless. And the unless has happened. The unless was a change of regime at Warner Brothers. HBO Max is the one who gave him the money, meaning they needed money to do it. Mm-hmm. And the other part is you had to have, all these things fall into place and Snyder willing to work on it again. That was the other problem. Nobody even knew if Snyder was willing to come back. Mm-hmm. But that all three of those things just happened to work. And back in November, another thing happened. The Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. And The Mandalorian was something that showed that it could make a streaming service very palatable to a large audience. So they're like, what do we got that we can get people on board like The Mandalorian? And that's why I think this is going to end up being basically a mini series for one of the many, many reasons that are going to go down. But it's going to be the thing that's going to drive HBO Max for the next year.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh. All right. Well, that's about all I got on that article. Do we want to get into super chats?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. We've got so many generous people who send us super chats.
I'm going to be right back. Yes. If you ladies want to read super chats, I'm going to be right back. If you want to read super chats, I will be returning just momentarily.
All right. So where did we leave off at here?
Go up to where the little break is up there. I think the one we left off on was Arthur P's $2. Yes, my favorite ladies are on. That was the last one we read. So McKinney 90 is where we left off.
Okay.
$10 super chat.
Do you have it, Alora? I have it.
It's in the private chat, yeah.
Go ahead, start.
Okay.
I found it, but go ahead.
Okay. McKinney 90 for $10. Thank you so much. That's real fresh coming from Collider. So if being about representation, faux sexism, and the acism word is fine if they do it, but if legitimate fans voice their feelings and concerns, it's toxic. F_KU.
Mm-hmm.
Word up. Then our next one would be 16.
Yeah.
All right, 16-bit mascot for 366. So thank you so much. Hell, ladies, good to see you tonight. So thank you so much for your contribution and your super chat. Or not your super chat, but yeah. Oh yeah, your super chat. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
All right.
One of these nights.
One of these nights. Terminus S is S-E-S-T, however you say it, is the next one. So we did not forget your super chat, sir. Sorry, we just jumped to Ords there real quick. Sorry about that. $5. JJ Cut would have so many lens flares you couldn't start a fire with, or you could start a fire with it, I should say. Like a magnifying glass. That is so true.
Maybe that's what happened in the cut. There were so many lens flares that
And then Terminus
maybe what we seen with Rise of Skywalker was what's left from all the lens flares.
Right, and then Terminus S had the
Sorry,
next one too. He said with $2, I misheard Mary. I thought you said the JJ cut.
Oh no, I text that out in chat. The JJ cut.
I was gonna say I think we
Yes,
came
and
up,
I
don't know if
did
we
that
came up
before
with it, but
when
we
we
said that
started
before. Yeah. You want to get the next one?
Yes, I brought it up, and then it like went.
Sure.
Yes.
Culture Casino, $2. Wait, I want the JJ cut.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us, the one, the only, the president.
Oh, look who we have.
Hey, Abu Nas.
Nas.
Thank you. You know, Tom, I actually thought you forgot about me, but but it didn't dawn on me that you start late.
Well, for this, this was Toxic Femininity, so we were just talking about
I completely
you.
forgot it. I thought it was something completely different that we was talking about, but
yeah, we were going to do
works.
a regular show too. We're going to do a regular show too on Mead, but
okay.
No, I brought you on here because we actually brought you up, and Mary kept talking some smack about you, so I figured you might want to. No, I'm just kidding. She's actually away at the moment, of course.
Okay.
She's not even here to defend herself.
She's not even here. I know. That's why I'm being a dick.
I didn't know. I would have at the very least prepared myself a lot better. You know what was so funny? Because I'm up here writing lyrics and putting songs together for the big blowout we're gonna have on the Dark Council. It's gonna be ridiculous. But I'm on the Jackson's victory tour right now. So I'm up here spreading goodwill, good cheer, telling all the people, hey, Mary. I'm telling all the people in the movement, we reached the top of the mountain. We at the promised land. Light of God is shining on us, So I said I'm going to make sure, all the new subscribers and all the new people that jumped on Twitter, like I said, that thing with AT&T blew up in a way that I wasn't even expecting.
Well, and I was telling him earlier because Abu and I had conversations about this, right? And he knows we don't agree on the whole Snyder Cut thing. And so it goes to the point of hey, what's interesting is that I can have a conversation with Abu about this and neither of us gets called toxic. But you go and throw out an article and start calling people who are in support of this toxic fans. They don't look like the problem to me. You do, Collider. You do, Vanity Fair. You do, everybody who put out an article looking like this and talking like this about people. You're the problem because I can have a conversation with a Snyder fan and disagree respectfully, but you don't seem to be able to do that without calling people toxic, man-baby children, things like that. They're not the problem. You are.
Yeah, I couldn't believe because I reread the Collider article again, and I said to myself, "Damn, did Zack Snyder rob them in the dark alley or something, or?" Did he threaten his family? This guy actually wrote a hit piece that he was personally attacked by this man. I couldn't believe it. How did they even get away with letting him write all of that and just put it out there? But then again, it's Collider. They're a shell of their former selves, all their superstars that we expose.
I thought they were the voice of the fans, though, Abu. I thought they cared about fans and fan culture. I thought they understood this stuff.
No, when you're Collider, you get the hobnob with the stars. You get the backstage passes. You get, like Christian Harloff. I busted my ass for Star Wars for 5 years. And you get nothing. And Disney just, put him in the corner. Now he finally left.
Wait, that was that guy?
That was that guy.
Yeah.
I did my little when I did my little video clip of all the former superstars. Now they looking you know what I'm saying? You was working
I heard his BF about that was
Mark Yellen. Imagine yourself working at what's the no, I don't want to say that. Imagine yourself working at Disney. You're all executives at Disney. You got, your chicks, you got your subordinates, your bootlickers, and everybody throwing money. Everything's good. Then when the shit hits the fan, now you look like what's that show? Seinfeld. Now all of y'all about the bottom of the basement. You got your little apartments and you have your little. That's the Collider Boys now. And they looking pitiful. They looking pitiful. They looking rough.
So hard.
Yeah, they looking rough on the podcast, looking like hobos. They have their little mic and everything, and now they talking about, oh well, yeah, the Snyder Cut is coming out. Huh? I was like, my God, and I posted a little clip, just basically rubbing it in, but nah, I'm not rubbing it in. You're happy right now, very
You should
happy.
be happy. You
Yes,
should
you
be happy.
be.
You know, this was a long road to hoe for you guys, right? And look, I'll be the first to be like, oh, God, you guys are annoying sometimes. But at the same time, but it's no different than what I said to you earlier, right? But at the same time, I can be the exact same way about things that I'm passionate about, right? So you don't have to engage in the conversation if you don't want to. You don't have to be here. No one's keeping you here, right? If you don't like it, go away. You don't have to be here. Nobody's holding you here. If you don't care about watching the Snyder Cut, if you don't care about it being released, why don't you just let the fans have? Why don't you let these people who worked so hard, who are such hardcore fans of this, why don't you let them have that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, a lot of it is just ego. A lot of it. Remember,
They still want to call it a conspiracy theory, Abu.
Yeah,
they still want to call it a conspiracy theory, even though it's coming out next year.
Obviously, but like I said, these people were kings of the mountains for 3 fucking years. They running their mouth, they having a ball. Your Snyder Cut ain't coming out. Fuck Zack Snyder. He ruined the DCEU. I love myself. And I'm getting clicks. Everybody having a ball. They partying. And we sitting up there with our little pickets. Yeah, well, we believe in ourselves. And we doing all of our work for the charity, for suicide prevention. We're putting up posters on the Comic-Con. The big guys go to the Comic-Con. It's like, look at these idiots. They putting posters up there. Like, Warner Brothers really going to read all of this? And just teasing us mercilessly. We go on podcasts. They shoot us down. The imaginary unicorn? That's the Snyder Cut? Oh my God, you guys kill me. And they go right back into it. And we had to go back home, throw in the sticks, and we like, will we ever see this the light of day? But we prayed to God, please bless us with something, because we're doing this for a good cause. We're doing it because we respect the gentleman that at the very least gave us movies that we like, but we understood all the grimy shit that went down in the background, disrespected him hard, and anything that Zack Snyder did, he did not do anything to disrespect the fans, call them out. He took it, and all the stuff that he went through in his personal life, we felt that, and we rallied to his side. It took a while, but it finally paid off. Now, where are all these superstars at? Where are all these big YouTubers? Making up stuff, crying, creating false narratives, now calling us a cult, now calling us a bad precedent that, why would they even give it to them? Y'all spent 3 years talking about it didn't exist. Now all of a sudden it's a bad precedent? Like I said, losing their goddamn minds. But you know what? I'm here for all of it.
Yup. Like I was telling Abu on the last stream that we were on together, I'm an MCU girl. I'm an MCU girl. When Endgame was over, I had no more interest. I said, let's look at the DCU. And one of the things that stuck out to me was how passionate people were about the Snyder Cut. So when the news came out and I started seeing the blue check entertainment mafia lose their freaking minds.
I love my life.
It's just, I'm just like, it's just something else. I felt it's like, can't you just be happy that they got this? But no, they can't be. Okay.
And also with us is Zod. How you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great tonight. I mean, as I have been these last few nights. This is a beautiful time. What's up, President Abu?
We do have a few more super chats we want to get to.
I was
but we'll talk
something.
a little bit more about the Snyder Cut, and then we do have a lot of other stuff to get to as well. But I want to thank you guys for hopping in with us for a little bit here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so we're left on Terminus, and it's a $5 super chat to Ords, and it's a song. Let's hate on men. Hallelujah. Let's hate on men.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Yep. There you go, Orange, just for you. Let's
Toxic
hate on
femininity can
men.
make a little room for men folk every once
And
in
I
a while.
always take every opportunity to remind everybody, if you were a fan of like CNC Music Factory or what was the other one, like Black Box and all them, every
Yeah.
time you hear the lady's voice in there, that is the same lady from the Weather Ladies.
Yeah.
What's her name, Lorena? I
Martha
forgot.
Wash.
Martha
Martha
Wash.
Wash.
Yes.
Thank you.
Martha,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she has a hell of a voice.
Woo,
So
yes,
yes,
she does.
she got done dirty. Speaking of people being done dirty, but she got her just desserts in the
She
end.
did.
so.
She sued the heck out of me.
She did indeed.
I remember that. That was crazy nuts, but yes, she deserved everything.
Yes.
Now, can I just ask a question? Can we just cancel Collider?
Well, I'm not
I think they've
Come
almost
on now.
canceled themselves at this point.
No,
I'm with ya.
see, look, I
Well,
believe,
yeah, I mean, their desperation is just ridiculous. I mean,
I
it's
believe,
insane.
no, man, we gotta stick to our laurels here, right? Like cancel culture is a bad thing. We joke about it. We
Yeah.
joke about the cancel culture thing, right? And we hashtag
Exactly.
cancel Jeremy, hashtag cancel, whatever. But the thing is that at the end of the day, I absolutely think everybody should use their voice to speak and should be able to do so in a way that doesn't result in you getting called a name or getting called toxic, right? So while I do think Collider is a problem, I'm always going to advocate for everybody's right to be able to speak. So at the end of the day, because they make themselves look stupid, right? Like
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. They don't need our
flame
help.
out. Let them flame out,
let them like freaking stupid themselves into oblivion.
That's what I always say. I don't believe in cancel culture, but hey, if they cancel themselves, that's their own fault. People don't.
They seem to be doing a very good job of it so far.
Go ahead. Stupid yourself into oblivion, guys. I'm good.
All right, we got a few more super chats to get here, and then we'll talk a little bit more Snyder Cut, and then we got to move on because we got a couple more topics to get to. Blah.
Yes. So we left
where
off
we left
on
off, yeah.
Ron W.
Ron W.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I'll do that one. Ron W. The $14.99 super chat. Thank you. Agree or not, AT&T is doing things right over the last week to give fans what they want. This movie and the HBO Max stuff has been posted. They even posted We Have Gingers yesterday.
Oh, because you've got the ginger joke, right? Like that gingers get replaced all the time. Like if you're a redhead.
Oh, yeah, that thing. Okay. I got you.
Redheads don't get to keep their roles, apparently.
That's a shame.
No, I gotta give AT&T some credit. They give WB some nuts.
They've been responding. They've been responding to our
all over.
I can think of at least 4 or 5 different tweets of mine that AT&T responded to, and I was impressed. I'm like, my God, they are doing everything they can to make the fans happy. No other big conglomerate is responding to fans like this.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
You all right?
Yeah, I got something in my chest. Get it out.
They are in the thick of it, though. That's all I'm gonna say. They are like totally, doing things right and responding to fans, and it's just great to see that. It's very positive.
Absolutely. Like, hey, Disney, take a page out of this playbook here, right? Can you imagine? Look, that's one of the reasons why I'm sitting here applauding this right now, right? As even if I'm not mincing words. I've never at any point minced words with how I feel about Zack Snyder's stuff, right? I think it's subpar to be kind, right? So I have a lot of problems with Zack Snyder's take on things. That being said, because I'm not going to mince words with this, AT&T, you're listening to fans. That makes this a victory for all of us, right? And so it's one thing that if everybody did a little bit more of, we'd see a whole hell of a lot more of my money. That's for damn sure. I'd probably also be out of a job. You too. But like seriously, that's why I got into this fight in the first place, was because I was so sick and tired of seeing my beloved franchises destroyed, right? Please put me out of a job. I will go do something else. If you can stop fucking with my shit, that'd be great. Like, I'd really appreciate that. I would go find a different purpose. This is where I belong right now. But
please. Give me back my Star Wars. Give us fans back the things we love. Listen to it. We don't have so many problems anymore. You know, put us out of business, guys.
This house is a fucking prison on planet bullshit. In the galaxy of this sucks camel dicks.
Oh my god. And as I was saying earlier, is that this gives like us legend or us fans who are just big fans of Legends, George Lucas era, some hope, because we have the campaigns with the billboards out. We want Disney or we want Lucasfilm to bring back Legends and still give us Legends under the authors that helped write Legends in the past. So this gives us a little bit of hope that if the fans can be listened, the Snyder fans can be listened to, then we can too, and we can make a difference.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Well said.
All right. So what else do we have for super chats here?
Paul Wolfie for $10 his first time listening. Lots of passion here. Well, you will find there's lots of passion here in the Fandom Menace period, but us toxic femininity ladies, I like to think we take the cake.
Oh yeah, absolutely does. I spend so much money just throwing at y'all every week.
He's like, my wallet is empty after
You know what I'm
Monday.
saying?
Make it rain, Daddy.
Yeah, I'm trying. I wish they wasn't making it rain the way I want them to make it rain. Shit.
You might be the theme. You might have the theme to the new Snyder cut. So you never know. There might be some money in that.
I'm trying, brother.
Speaking of themes,
trying.
I think the toxic femininity needs a theme song from Mr. Abu Nas.
Oh
yes.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Wow, I never thought of it.
I play that all the time. I might even pay you for it.
Okay.
Oh, there
Shit,
you
I might
go.
pay myself
I'm
for it.
no lyricist, but I'll sing it. I don't care. Let's go.
All right.
Yeah, you can have the ladies in the background going toxic femininity.
Well, I got to get ladies in here with me that actually, help with that process. I can only do the
I can
lyrics.
put it together. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, even better. Even better.
I know. I have
you go.
production background. Ask Mary. So
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Pow,
nice.
pow. That sounds amazing.
Okay,
my
I guess
goodness.
I have to put the song
I went to
together.
school for that shit. So. All right, where were we?
I got some ideas floating in my head right now.
There
but-
you go. Oh, I was
Nice.
serious when I told you before, man. You should talk to me a little bit. I could help you out with that a little bit.
Hey, well, like I said, you're the man, so I'm gonna definitely reach out to you.
For
Just
sure.
Like
for
I
sure.
said, I just got caught up just trying to put my songs and everything together. But like I said, it's gonna be a celebration, and I know the main Release the Snyder Cut Twitter handle, because they're responsible for putting together the little programs that we did in terms of doing the hashtags and stuff like that. So they was asking me, well, when you gonna have the full thing there? Because I'm hoping to get it to the boss.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get it to the boss, Zack Snyder, like he saw my last one. My very first one, which literally blew me away. Something I did. With Anthem. They already had another anthem already done, but I did mine when Subway's the Subway company that did sandwiches jumped on our thing in terms of the charity. They was like, well, if you could retweet, Release the Snyder Cut with Subway, they promised that they will donate 10,000 sandwiches to feed homeless families and stuff like that. So we jumped right on it, and we not even met the quota. We like doubled it.
Oh yeah, and we did it super fast too.
Exactly.
They had it within, wasn't it within like an hour or two, something
yep.
like that? Yeah.
Yeah. And that was incredible. I was so moved by that. Just for the charity, just doing the hashtag. I got in the house and I just wrote the first anthem I ever did, because I was so excited. Put it the music, and then I put it on my Twitter handle. That thing sort of like started slow, but then all of a sudden, after the Release of the Snyder Cut main Twitter handle, once they got a hold of it, boom, it was off to the races. And one guy said, dude, let me take this to Vero where Zack Snyder is, and I want him to hear it. Hopefully, I really didn't think Zack Snyder was going to listen to it. I'm not even paying attention to it, much less listen to it. But he took it out there. I forgot all about it. He came back to me, gave me a DM on Twitter. He said, Abu Nas, I think you're going to be happy. Not only did he show Zack Snyder the song, but he actually listened to it and responded to the dude, and he screenshotted me what Zack Snyder said. I was like,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Wow, that is amazing.
Mhm.
Damn, I need your autograph now.
Yeah. Before you blow up and get famous, you know.
Yes, and for you forget about all of us.
Shit, I don't want to be
little
famous.
Yeah.
I don't want to be famous. Being famous, you got a target on your back, you know? Like some of these haters out here, but y'all deserve that target on your back, boy. Yeah, we coming after you. Oh, no, not Abu Nad. Yeah, we coming after you. We the boogeyman. It's time. It's time to pay the piper, you know? I had to get on my boy, your boy Jody Joe today. Over that nonsense he put on Twitter. Oh, shit, it's just embarrassing.
Oh,
You know, Zod, did you see that?
Oh yeah, the whole T-shirt thing. He's saying that he's doing it for charity.
Not the T-shirt. He went there. He took it to the slave plantation.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I seen that.
Wow,
I had to do a video.
You talk about offensive. You talk about offensive right there. Wow.
I scorched the earth with that motherfucker. I said, white people, y'all stay out of this shit. I said, black man to black man. Lorena, did you see the video?
I did not. It's on my list to see. I liked it.
It was horrible.
On general principle.
It was horrible.
I saw that tweet.
People was responding to me like, "Damn, Abu Nash, you ethered it." Yeah. I had to do it.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Yep.
Shit, we got that there. Just like my man Ron Burgundy said, that escalated quickly. You goddamn right.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Lorena. You were going to say something there.
No, I was gonna say it's on my list to see, Abu. But yeah, I'm glad you got at him about that.
Disgusting.
That was disgusting to invoke that. It's like, do you have any idea?
Like you wasn't even intelligent enough to think of something else to make an analogy.
Exactly, and that's
For
what
real.
fucking, as if that's all we are.
Well, like I said, I tell people the same thing I told Andy Sigmore yesterday. You know, I said, listen, you're a grown man, you know, but you need to leave these little clowns alone, man. Leave these fuckboys alone. They're gonna self-explode. They're gonna implode because their anger and their hatred, you know, for the fact that we won and now their whole thing is exposed. It's getting to them, you know. But I told, you know, Fat Boy Jody Joe, let me tell you something. You know, you could have the biggest YouTube channel. I'm on the low end of the spectrum, but I'm gonna be more respected than you on every level, because I don't do things to get the clicks. You know,
that's 100.
I don't do things to get the clicks. Wow. If you live off this shit, that's your livelihood. So you got to pump out some videos to get them clicks. Luckily for me, I don't have that problem. That way I can speak and talk the way that I talk and walk the way that I walk. Mm-hmm. And I told Andy, you got to do the same thing, man. Be your own man. You know, you built Scream Junkies from the ground up. You could do the same shit with Popcorn, whatever. Just as long as you focus and don't get caught up in the rhetoric, you know.
For real, man. One thing that's for sure, man, you can't fake respect. You can't fake it. It's either there or it isn't.
That's right.
And with him, that's what it is. He's trying to fake respect.
Speaking of respect, we got to pay some respect to our lovely super chatters here. Where did we leave off, guys?
We are at Wayward Astronaut at $5. If you guys are talking about the Captain American article, I hope you guys archived it, because apparently CBR just took it down.
Yes, we did.
And yes, we have
They took it
down. You go there now, you got a lovely 404 error coming out. Oh, it's gone.
Yep.
I was gonna say, yeah, if you guys want to stick around, that's up to you. We got some other articles and stuff we got to get to, and we got to finish up these super chats. Because we'd love to talk Snyder all night, but yeah, we definitely got to get moving on here. Where do we? So then the next one would be Terminus Est wants Mary to read his $5 super chat about the JJ cut. Do you know which one?
I can see it. I didn't see the last $5.
Why do you want to see the JJ cut? You got the JJ cut. You got the JJ cut.
I think it's
George Lucas cut.
I think I know which one it is. I'll recopy and paste it here.
Maybe the George Lucas cut.
I think this is the one he's talking about. If it's not, I apologize, and you'll have to let me know.
Yeah, Doomcock did a good thing about the George Lucas cut the other day.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he pointed it out. It was really good.
What you want on JJ?
I hope we get to see the George Lucas cut.
JJ's over at Warner Brothers right now, chilling with the interns. Like, I don't know what I was doing with Lucasfilm. I'm so fucking glad I'm out of that shithole. Oh my god! Somebody sent the email like, "Hey JJ, they said they want you to do the JJ cut. JJ cut. That shit is the JJ cut. Enjoy, folks."
All right, I think the one that he means is the one that I pasted at the bottom there, Mary.
Okay, so the Terminus EST for $5 says the JJ cut would have so many lens flares you could starting fires. It's like a magnifying glass.
Oh my goodness!
You're gonna have to reread that. It got drowned it out a little bit.
So the JJ cut would have so many lens flares you could start a fire with it, just like with a magnifying glass.
You know what? It'd probably be an improvement. What we just.
You don't say that.
All right.
Other super chats. I thought he was talking about the It's Raining Men one for that was Terminus.
No, I think we sang that enough. I think we're talking about JJ cut one.
Yes.
All right, Crispy Critters is next, I believe.
Okay, so Crispy Critters for $2. They're just curing gingivitis.
With the all anti-ginger thing. But
Parrot Head was a good fun there.
With $2 says pork and beans.
And no comments. All right.
I'm not doing it, guys.
I don't dine on the swine, so I can't comment on that.
No, the pork and beans. The reason that's a joke is because my mom used to use that terminology when she was referring to the man bits, pork and.
Hey girl, you want some of these pork and beans?
That's a new one.
Come here, girl. Come here. Daddy gonna serve you a big helping of pork and beans.
And I'm sorry I didn't see this earlier. I don't know if Willie's listening, but he sent $5. Says, I gotta go. Respect to Abu Nas and congrats to you and the other Snyderites. Bye, ladies. Take care, Tom, and take care, chat. Well, thank you, Willie.
Bye,
Sorry
Willie.
if you didn't get that a little sooner.
Salute, brother.
And then the next one was Terminus Est with $2 about Amber Heard. Whoever wants to take that one.
I can read that. So Amber Heard deserves to lose her uterus. I will not endorse that.
Yow.
Yeah, I didn't want to read that one.
The guys are like,
Terminus wasn't playing. But I guess in the whole scope of things, with the way she did Johnny Depp so dirty,
she did shit on his bed,
and then on top of that, but like I said, shout out to Johnny Depp, my man Gellert Grindelwald. He kept his composure. He kept it cool. He got slapped on, thrown tomatoes, everything, tried to kill his career. He didn't disrespect her. Not one time. He didn't say nothing bad about her. He kept his cool, and now look at him. The light of God is shining on him. And poor Amber Heard, she ain't gonna be an Aquaman too. That's for damn sure. That chick's career is over.
Exactly. So we have Paul Wolfley at $10. Thank you so much for the super chat. Wolfley, not Wolfie. Everyone makes that mistake. Not in Norwegian country used it to it.
Not in a Norwegian country, they're used to it. Yeah. Well, we're sorry, but we'll try to keep that in mind when we say your name in the future. Oh, we didn't mean to give us a super chat to say that though.
Yeah, you didn't really. Yeah, but I'm sorry about that. We owe you $10 now. Let's get moving on here. Like I said, guys, unless you got to duck out, we're gonna move on to some Star Wars business and some Captain America business.
Oh, sounds interesting. Sounds good. I'll hang.
All right,
ladies. Laura's got the one for us.
Are we doing this one next then?
Laura's
blurry, but hey.
I know. Can you guys see it?
Do you want me to share it there, Laura? I can get the Bounding into Comics article if you like. Since it's
I don't know what's going on. I keep on blurring off and on today. So
let me go up here and see if I can find it, and I will share it for us. Or can you put the link actually so I can find it? You're using the Bounding into Comics article, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to ever, even if there's a fire.
Here it is. All right. Let me go ahead and share this for you guys, and then that way you can see it hopefully a little bit better. I never thought my internet would be good internet.
Mine is not working very well today or whatever. I don't know what's going on here. So you guys, we talked about basically what's going on with the Snyder Cut, and they calling us toxic fans because we want a good product. So now we have this anniversary, Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary here. Disney releases an animated short cartoon through their galaxy of adventures. And there is another big problem. And if you haven't been keeping track of these cartoons as well, we have noticed that George Lucas created Leia as a very good, strong female lead character already, but they are screwing her over by making her overly Mary Sue type character where she gets put in the scenes. Men are taken out, men are being slapped, all the males are basically being ridiculed for her sake so she can shine, even though George Lucas already created her that way. So they are blind to this as well. So we have Disney rewrite the Battle of Hoth for Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary. So let's go ahead and scroll a little bit more here. All right. Disney and Lucasfilm continues their work to erode the original trilogy that began with The Force Awakens. At first reported by Disney Star Wars Dumb, Star Wars and Lucasfilm released a new animated Star Wars kids short that reinvents the Battle of Hoth first shown in The Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars Kids released the first of 4 parts that retells the Battle of Hoth. The short begins with a voiceover. The Empire Strikes Back. Darth Vader leads the attack against Leia's rebels. So this is where it begins. They're her rebels. Of course, she is one of the senatorial ambassador leaders right next to Mon Mothma. Now, I don't know if you want to share parts of this video, this cartoon short or not.
Do you think we'll get a claim for it?
Yeah, we'll probably get it. We already shitted on him so many times. Yeah, don't. You know what? It's not even necessary. It's not even necessary. Yeah. We got the gist of it.
Yeah. Well, so to kind of give you guys some context, there's some really way skewed stuff. Like when you watch this, they do parts that are out of sequence. Mm-hmm. They misrepresent, kind of like they did with the other videos over like the same little cartoons or whatever, where they've got her like slapping Luke
and she backhanded him. She slapped him. She backhanded him.
Not even actually a part of the movie. And when this came out, I pointed this out. I also pointed out how they are now putting her as general in the cartoon movie and in the overall lore, which she was not even a general in the movies, for the sake of raising her up as a character. But you know what it is? It's a demotion because she's already a leader. She's already ambassador. She's commanding the whole station. In fact, Riken is basically underneath her as general. He responds to her. She doesn't respond to him, or nor is she his equal. Well, and so Disney doesn't get.
It doesn't even fit in with normal canon, right? Like, so even in their own canon, Leia's an ambassador, right? She's diplomatic, not military. Okay.
Well, she's a princess, and a princess outranks a general anyway.
Well, let's not even like okay, yes, I agree. A princess outranks a general. I agree with that 110%. But the roles that they fulfill, she doesn't take on the sort of battle-hardened roles so much until the 3rd movie, right? She's very much a diplomatic person, and they make that abundantly clear. I'm on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan. And in their own book, the Princess Leia book, that Claudia Ray talk, like she goes to school for this. She goes to train for this, right? Like she goes to Coruscant for this. This is what she spent her life on. It's diplomacy, right? She wasn't some battle-hardened general who knew tactics and all of that shit. That was not something she'd spent her life geared towards. She wasn't a general. She was a diplomat. She was a princess. Her focus was on other things. And so to make her a general is, I can understand even why you might be able to do that like years and years, like 30 years down the road, how she could have transitioned into becoming a general. Sure, you've got 30 years of time that you can fill if she decided to focus on that. But at this point in this canon, right, there is no way in hell that you're going to make her a general, because she has none of the criteria needed to be one. She's a diplomat, and they're very different things.
Well, that didn't start J.J. Abrams for slapping the general tag on her titty and sent her
Yeah.
on her way.
And we're going to expand on that some more, ladies and gents, because I did cover this on my video. I talked about this scene here. I talked about Riken's significant, even with Han. If Riken's taking out on any of this, his significant and the significance of Hoth battle, the significance of us knowing why Han has to leave to go pay Jabba, and also that he's one of the best pilots in the Rebel Alliance is gone, because Riken, he speaks directly to Riken. So anything and all the intelligence that comes in to the Hoth base goes through Riken, and we see that interaction throughout the whole section of the beginning of the movie when it comes to the Hoth battle. So the argument that I went through on Twitter was about that. People basically, I guess I'm going to say this, Disney shills, protectors of these cartoons, who are saying, oh, well, this is just made for kids and it's not canon anyways, and it doesn't matter. They're just trying to lift up Leia. Well, you know what? Leia has already been a lifted character through George Lucas. She's already mattered. She's already established herself as a confident leader.
Why are we
And
treating her
so
like a victim? She was never a victim. Why are we dismissing her legacy like she's some kind of freaking victim? That's never been the case with Leia. She was strong, capable, talented, courageous, and brilliant in her own right. Why are you treating her like she needs to be elevated, and in the process besmirching the men? There's a point in this video, right? Oh, the best Star Wars don't even make you, right? There's a point in this video where they literally have Han grab her by the arm and begin to drag her like she's some kind of a dick. That's not how it went down in Empire, guys. Yes, yes.
That is
Watch this. Hold on. I'm gonna watch this. Where is it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Here it is. Watch this. Watch what they have him do to her. Look at that. He's dragging her along like she's some kind of animal. Look at that mess. That pissed me off so
And another thing that I pointed out too is, okay, so you know the debate when George Lucas did his special editions, and the biggest one that what didn't sit well for the fans is the Han scene, who shot first, right? So, you know, we knew in the original production, Han shot Greedo, and then George changed it. So that's a huge debate that I've been in with people, and I kind of understand it, but still, you know, people are so invested as fans. We're not toxic. We're just invested as fans because we love the fantasy. We love what's given to us. It's escapism. So in this clip as well, you know, when you watch Empire Strikes Back, Han shoots them first. When Vader comes in and his stormtroopers are setting up the guns, the artillery, Han shoots first from the Falcon. And now in this short clip, he doesn't shoot first. So there's another one right there.
Rena's like, I'm so done with these bastards.
She's like
So
moaning.
done with them. Yeah,
I'm trying to.
I'm hearing you, baby girl. I heard it in your voice. I'm thinking the same thing. This is just foolishness and ignorance on another level. Sorry, OG. Go ahead, keep going.
All right, so we're going to get into Leia versus Riken here. It's significant. I do a video about this, and I hashed out Riken's significance. So let's go on with this article. So Leia responds, "It's risky, but we can't hold out much longer." Now they not only changed the scene, they changed the script around, because Riken, that was never said right there. She said that little bit of script in a different part of the scene, of the scenario at the Battle of Hoth.
They just washed him out of the thing altogether.
Exactly. They just took him out. And so with Riken is Alderaanian. He's a survivor. That's his princess. So there's a significance with Riken being there and being under Leia as one of her surviving, people.
Yeah. But the thing is that we have to remove all remnants of strong male characters. We've got to get rid of those in order to propagate this notion that she's a strong female character. Never mind that she was strong in her own right? We have to remove the males from the scenario. We have to watch this and we have to revise this revisionist notion that in order to empower a woman, we have to degrade men or simply erase them altogether. That's what we have to do, right?
And that's my biggest problem with this. It's like they can't elevate a woman based on her own merits. She has to either step on men or degrade men in order to do that. And that's not how Leia was originally at all.
Yeah, Disney Lucasfilm is destroying her character. She has already claimed that. That was the brilliance, and we did talk about that in my OT live stream that we did before the show here. How much we adored her because she was a strong character. She stood up for her own. She stood her own ground. She stood up against Vader and Tarkin and sassed their ass off towards them. And then also she wasn't afraid to be a woman and being rescued as well and doing the rescuing.
Well, why do we have to poach the male dialogue here? Why do we have to take it from them and give it to her? Look, I get it. If you want to make her more empowered, blah 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 blah. I understand the logic and reasoning, but what you did here was you took it from the man to give it to her. Why can't she have her own damn thoughts? Why can't she speak of her own accord? Why do you have to give her what was once a man's in order to empower her, right? Why can't you allow her to do that on her own? You're not empowering her. You're disempowering her here because you're poaching what was once a man's and not giving her the ability to do it on her damn own, right? That was one of the most wonderful thing about Leia was that she was empowered of her own right, of her own accord. No man she didn't have to take what it was that belonged to a man in order to be empowered. She was that way on her own. You are actually disempowering her by poaching what it was that was once a man to give it to her, as if she couldn't do it for her damn self.
But the problem is that these people that now have control of the franchise, and golly, Fatal J is almost like a prophet. He said this a long time ago. They're gonna change everything. And sure enough, little by little, they doing it. They looked at all the movies, the script. They looked at it page by page. If Leia or any other female character don't get enough, because that's one of their biggest problems when the women do movies with men, and then all these feminazis running around here talking about, well, how many lines did she actually have in the movie, or how many lines? That's where they're going. They see Princess Leia only have 2 things of dialogue. Han and Luke get most of the thing, and General Retcon and all the other background guys, but not Princess Leia. So yeah, we'll take their dialogue and give it to her, and we make it, since we own the property, we making that canon.
I don't understand why they didn't just give her new dialogue to speak in the cartoon.
You're changing everything else. Yeah, might as well do that. Do something.
Here's why they didn't. Because then they'd have to hire a voice actress that sounded like her, and they would have to pay more money, and that it doesn't suit their narrative anyway, right? It doesn't fit what they want to do anyway. What they want to do is their train of thought here. I do understand what they're trying to do. Their train of thought is, we'll empower her. We'll clip this down. We'll make this shorter. We'll get straight to the point here, right? But what you did in the process was you disempowered her because you didn't think this through, because you're not sincere about this. You're not genuine about this. You don't actually care about empowering her enough to think about the implications of what it is that you're doing. You never stopped to think about that. You just slapped it together because you thought it would certainly make you look like you cared about empowering women, because you don't actually care about empowering women. You care about looking like you empowered women. And there's a difference.
Exactly. One of the things that I tell people is that at one time, feminism was about equal rights for women. If a woman wanted to go in the workplace, that was fine. If a woman wanted to stay home and raise her children, that was okay too. The thing was empowering that choice. But now feminism is about, you have to make the choices that we deem okay. And if we have to demonize men to do it, take away from men to do it in order to do so, that's what they will do. And so that's what feminism has progressed to now.
And there's such a big, huge imbalance between the men, and I'm just going to go there, the men and the feminine and the masculine energy now. There's no balance anymore because of that theory. And we're seeing it through our, our fantasies, our, IPs, favorite IPs we like it as well. And, the video here, you see her in this video short here, she's giving her commands to the squadron. So basically it looks like Rogue Squadron right there. Why couldn't they just put that scene in there instead? Because she's over there commanding them and telling them what they need to do and all that, because they're facing the Empire coming down on them, and they're on their secret base, Echo Base right there, instead of changing the dialogue. And that's the big problem. And that's what I meant on Facebook or not Facebook, but Twitter, is that people are fine. They're like, oh, well, they're doing that to make her look better, to make her look stronger. And I'm like, it's already been established. You don't need to take away our men to further establish this as well. Well, no one knew, right? And they didn't even have action figures, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, seriously? And so I pulled up all these action figures and bam. And then they're like, well, this is not even canon. I'm like, well, what about integrity? They're celebrating the 40 years of Empire Strikes Back. They're writing movie shorts. There needs to be integrity with the continuity between these cartoons and movies. Well, kids are not going to learn about Star Wars. They're not going to watch the old movies anyway. So this is a way for them to get into Star Wars. Well, okay, integrity here. Keeping continuity. If you're going to use these cartoons to introduce to our kids Star Wars, then it needs to have integrity and continuity to the movies. And then I told them, well, you know what? For myself and my kids growing up and seeing my nieces and nephew, everybody get into Star Wars, we got into it because of the movie. We didn't need these little cartoons to get us into Star Wars. We were just put in front of the TV or went to the theaters or whatever, and we were introduced by our families to Star Wars. It was
dumbing down. It's just dumbing down of it.
How do you think we became fans?
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
For us in the 70s, how do you think we became fans? So that's a bunch of bullshit in and of itself. But yeah,
yes,
it's
exactly.
all of it an agenda.
Exactly.
Well,
it's so sad.
They have no faith in these in current day viewers, right? They have no faith in current day kids and their ability to pick on something that's genuinely amazing, right? They have to dumb it down. They have to minimize. They have to make it short. For the same reason, you can't have a movie that lasts more than 2 hours. Well, I don't know. If it's an epic and it's meant to be an epic, I'm pretty sure people can handle a 3-hour movie. We certainly seem to handle it pretty damn well with Lord of the Rings. So I mean, like these sort of standards that are being set down. These plays like hey, we have to do this in order to dumb things down for people. Yeah, but that's not actually necessary. I'm not saying every damn movie needs to be 3 hours long, but don't shorten it and do the same shit that you did to Justice League. I'm sorry.
Well, as a disclaimer, it's not called Justice League, it's called Justice League.
Justice.
Amen. Amen. Justice.
But thank God.
Oh, I get it. I get it now.
But thank God, Justice League is getting ready to get thrown into the trash where it belongs.
I shouldn't have done it. I did it. That's all me. I blame myself.
The cutting room floor. Take Justice League and just shred it to pieces.
Shred that shit to pieces. Superman, deformed mustache. Yeah, tear that shit out of here.
But you don't have to dumb this stuff down. You don't have to dumb this down for
But
don't
Mary, that's what the people are saying is the kids are not going to get the movies, and so they're not going to understand.
They're underestimating how smart kids are. They're underestimating kids. Kids today are smart as can be. They know how to do everything. You ever see them on their iPads? Come on, man.
Yeah, my youngest daughter is 8 years old. She got two pads. She up there playing Fortnite right now.
All right, so I'm going to read this article some more. So we're going to get into the Riken thing as well. What actually happened in the Rebel Soldier informs General Riken, the Imperial fleet emerging out of hyperspace. As you can see, clip below, the soldier tells Riken, General, there is a fleet of Star Destroyers coming out of hyperspace in Sector 4. And then Riken responds, reroute all power to the energy shield. Gotta hold them until transporters are away. Prepare for ground assault. Now, if that's not a very important line of a general who Riken is the leader of Hoth. He is the one that is commanding. He's the leader. If that's not an utmost important even few lines that Riken has, and he's in there, people are like, he's only been in there a couple of times, so he's not that important of a character. I counted. He's in there like 7 or 8 times. Every single one of his dialogue and interactions are very much important because then it gives us a sense of what's going on. Intelligence coming out about what the Empire is doing. What are they doing to protect themselves from the Empire and to get out and escape well? And then Han, like I said, he tells Riken, I gotta go. I have, to pay Jabba. And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. That's such a, hard thing to go through, like that, having a death threat on you is such a bad thing to deal with. Sorry to see you go. You're one of our best pilots. That gives us more development through Riken about Han's arc. If that's ever taken out, we're not going to know exactly what's going on with Han anyways, why he's repairing, why he wants to leave. All that stuff is very much important just for what people call insignificant character.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and that's my rant right there, is that his role in Hoth, the Battle of Hoth, protecting his people, protecting the rebel alliances, getting intelligence, talking, and you even see Leia following him around a little tiny bit, but she's listening to him because he's the one who's the leader. Even though she's above him in rank, she has faith in him to get everybody out of there.
Right.
And people don't understand that. They just see it as just a scene of like, oh, they're attacking them and they're trying to escape. That's all. So not only does the short remove Riken completely, but it also refers to Leia as general. And the thing is, this is what irks me, is that, okay, first of all, in George Lucas's era for the EU, it expanded on the lore and the movies, but it never intruded. This is intruding because Leia was never general in the movies, ever. So this EU is now intruding. But when George had control of his IP, his company, his brainchild, basically the EU expanded, but it never intruded on any of the movies. It just expanded on the lore around it. And so now through the comics, we see that she was promoted, I call it demotion. She was demoted general, like after A New Hope. So in between the two movies there, for whatever reason, she got, and then Hans was mischaracterized in his rank as well. And so we now have to believe she held that title in the military for 31 years. 31. Because, later on in the lore, once we get into the sequel trilogy, in the discanon lore, she is also called general. And then she also makes the resistance. So she is the leader of the resistance. So why is she still general when she can still make herself an ambassador or a diplomat?
You know what's so funny? It just occurred to me. Who can give and who would even have the authority to demote Leia from princess to general? Princess is a royal title.
You have to be
from a planet that was destroyed, but that royal title stays. That's her station.
But no, it would have to be a choice she made for herself. So they're implying that she chose general over princess.
Oh, that's some bullshit, right?
Mon Mothma's the one that gave the promotions or the demotion.
But even if they gave her the promotions, princess supersedes general, right? You're going to use the highest title. And so for her to be referred to as General Leia as opposed to Princess Leia, it would mean that she selected that title over the other, right? And I just can't see her doing that. She loved Alderaan.
But a competent writer would not even broach that, because princess is an honorific that's above military rank. So if she's going to say anything, Leia, will you be able to help, the newly promoted officers to do X, Y, and Z, guide them and such and so forth, and be the advisor? Because she's basically
it's like this. It's like princess is essentially would almost be like, if you were going to put it in a military term, it would be almost like the president. So you're going to take that and make turn the president into a general? I mean, that's
that don't make
sense.
It also implies that that's where her preference would have laid, right? That she would have preferred to have been known as a general over her association with Alderaan. She loved Alderaan. This was her home planet. She was deeply invested. So if you read, again, this is the sort of new canon book or whatever, where the Princess Leia book or whatever. If you read that book, you understand that she loved her home planet. She jumped through so many hoops in order to be the princess that they needed her to be, because she knew that she was adopted. She knew that she had a role to fulfill here. She was deeply invested in her Alderaan heritage. She was deeply attached to it. And the notion that she would forgo that title in order to be simply known as general, when it would disassociate her from the planet she loved dearly, right, is hogwash, complete hogwash.
And besides, general, you have to have some knowledge of military tactics, strategy, commanding troops, the far and wide.
Yep.
Princess Leia didn't have no time to do all of that. That's the thing that really pissed me off with Force Awakens.
She could have for it later in life, but at this point, no, she's a diplomat. She's a diplomat. That's where her training is.
And then just to reflect off of Legends or the original lore, she was Princess of Alderaan. So basically, Riken has a big commitment to her already, because in the lore, she also found a new planet to take her survivors of Alderaan. So she was still, people still looked up to her for guidance and structure and all that. She was also chief of state. She was also a senator, and then of course the princess, as well as and the ambassador towards the alliance. So she held these high positions that outrank any military status that there is under the Rebel Alliance and in the New Republic. She also built the New Republic, and she was Mon Mothma's right-hand woman. And so she forgoed her Jedi training for a bit because she was helping reestablish the government. And then later on, we get Jedi Knight Leia Solo. And so that's her history there. What we're seeing here is we're seeing everything that was good about her, that was written about her through George Lucas's EU, everything that was fabulous about her, her struggles, her making peace about who she is, her lineage, being a Skywalker, forgiving her dad, and actually naming one of her kids after her father. Everything that's good about her, we're seeing turned on its head, and it's being done opposite. In Bloodlines, and I'm referring to discounting right here, the government turned their backs on her after they found out. She kept the secret for like 20 years from them. But when she was running for a governmental position, they turned their back on her. The government turned their back on her and the people because they found out who she was and that she was Vader's daughter. But in the original lore, they're like, you're Bail Organa's daughter. You helped us build the Rebel Alliance. You're one of the top leaders. You also, come from a Jedi family, basically. I mean, there was a lot of forgiveness there, and she also helped reestablish the government. And so now we're seeing this total demolition, just the structure of her arc, her character being taken away, and then to prop her up in their own light of what a woman should look like as a protagonist, they're making her that way, making her into maybe a Mary Sue-ish kind of way. And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is.
Heartbreaking.
It's terrible.
So, absolutely. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, I don't think of them as canon anyway, so.
Well, a few of us do, but you are right about the demolition of her character and who she is as a person. Like, you don't even have to be necessarily invested in the EU to have a good grip on who it is that Princess Leia is. And I'm sorry, but even freaking The Force Awakens had a decent respect of that. To me, she'll always be a princess, right? And so you should have known. You literally put a line in your movie that helped to kind of convey the notion that so many fans do. To me, she's royalty. She'll always be our princess, right? So why are you trying so hard now to backtrack and turn her into a general? It's purely for one reason. It's so that you can revise the history that is Star Wars, so that you can make it no longer weigh on people's minds, right? And force us to acknowledge her as General Leia. Well, you can go fuck yourself, because I'm not doing that. You can literally go find a rusty pike and fuck yourself sideways, because I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do that. She will always be Princess Leia, no matter how hard you try to push this on us, no matter how hard you try to force us to recognize her as General Leia. She will never be General Leia to me. She will always be Princess Leia, period. And that's because I know this character. And your strong female archetype, you can go blow that out your ass. I don't give a shit about it.
Yes. So I'm going to read on here because it's going to get into the Han Solo, the Millennium Falcon as well. The Empire Strikes Back, he actually activates the Millennium Falcon's weaponry first. In fact, he takes out the Imperial soldiers before they can set up their own heavy weaponry. So basically, that's what I'm talking about, is like people were so mad at George's, remake of the Han Solo Greedo scene. And now they know this. And they were remember when they were whispering about putting it back to normal, putting it back to Han shot first. And now they do this.
McClung.
Now they do this.
There's a major difference between that. See, if George, like I said, I never liked the fact that Han didn't shoot first. But guess what? That's George Lucas's story.
Exactly.
Whatever he needs to change, he has that right and carte blanche to change it. It's his story, you know? So whatever he wants to retcon, clean up, or whatever, it's in his mind. But he didn't think about it before. That's none of your fucking business. It's his story. So let him do what he wants to do. The only thing I cried about was the Han shooting first. Everything else I could live with.
Well, the truth is, Han didn't shoot first. Han was the only one that shot.
Okay. I like that. Like I said, it showed that he was a smuggler, a scoundrel, or whatever. But for whatever reason, George felt like it was just too cold blooded and such and so forth. But it was what it was. But the point that I'm trying to make is that these changes that these people are doing, they're doing it out of spite, knowing that they have an agenda behind this, knowing that they're trying to rewrite history to fit their narrative based off of the trash sequel trilogy from The Force Awakens to The Last Jedi Awful to The Rise of Papa Palpatine in Exodus. So everything,
and that would explain why George Lucas feels the way that he does now.
Oh
So,
God!
I've made a terrible mistake.
yeah,
Okay.
good Lord, what have I done?
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So scroll that up a little bit more, so we can get to the meat and potatoes more of this article here. So we talked about this already, but we're going to rehash on it again. The short also shows Han jerking Princess Leia in an attempt to get her to come with him to the Millennium Falcon. As you can see in the short above, Solo says, "Come on." He then jerks her arm with his right hand. After the first jerk, then he begins walking her away as she resists and tries to give the order to evacuate. So basically, she at first is like, "What about my people?" And then she realizes, okay, people evacuate. This is serious. We need to get out of here. Because if you see Echo Base, it's inside the snow. It's inside the snow, and it's the compromise of the facility is going under because of the attack. And Han sees that. He grabs her. She, being a diplomat, is worried about her people, basically wanting to go down with the sinking ship. But then Han's like, "You need to get your butt out of here because you're one of our valuable leaders." And so she complies. Now, isn't that a strong character right there? But seeing her jerk away and act like a bitch is not.
Yeah. That's so not Leia. So not Leia.
Right. That is, and it's true. I know you're about to read it, but that's not how it happened in the film either. Right? Like, he was forceful, but he didn't drag her away while she's screaming over her shoulder.
He was very insistent.
There's a command. There was a command in what he was doing in the movie. He was being more commanding and, I guess you could say, in a sense, caring and fretful.
And she felt that. She felt that. That's why she went with him.
But she was in front of him when they walked away.
Yeah.
When they walked away, he does have her, right? He does have her, but he's not dragging her behind him. He's putting him in front of her to see to it that she gets to the Falcon in front of himself, right?
Exactly.
As a gentleman does. And I'm not saying that Solo was a gentleman, but he had some sense of the danger she was in, and he was invested in her safety, right? There's a difference between dragging somebody behind you while they're screaming orders at everybody while you're dragging them out.
Come on, bitch. We got to get to the Falcon. Grab it up out of here. I want to stay with the sinking ship. No, you're not on my watch.
Not on my watch. Exactly.
Oh,
so give her a slight tug, and Leia then tells those giving the order to evacuate. So basically, I read that. So go ahead and scroll down a little bit more. There we go. Whoops. Okay. The New Forces Adventure. There we go. The New Forces Adventure comes after the Alphabet Squadron. Oh my God, I giggle so friggin' much when I read that. It's I'm sorry, but Resistant pilot Casna Chaddick claimed that Luke Skywalker's heroics in the Battle of Yavin are essentially meaningless, and that Rebellion's true hero was Jyn Erso, and I friggin' flipped on that.
Oh yeah.
So we're seeing little hints of the deconstruction of the lore, and these little short cartoons are basically they're conditioning new generations for the reboot. That's what they are.
The reboot. So like they're gonna like remake.
Well, they haven't announced it, but it's logically speaking,
they're just waiting for George Lucas to pass away, so they
will eventually. Yes.
Yeah, that's all that they're waiting for.
Yeah.
Over my dead fucking body.
For real.
Yeah,
that is horrible.
For Tom. They're going to wait for your body to be 6 feet under before they do it. They're going to wait for all the Last of Us who grew up on the movies, who came into Star Wars through watching the movies. they're going to wait till we're in the grave, and they're going to probably most likely reboot. To fit their vision of Star Wars. And they have every right to do it, yes, because they're the new owners. Now, do we agree? No, but I mean, it's bound to happen. Look at, they're already like reinventing the EU and reinventing the three, actually the main characters of Star Wars, and that's including Anakin Skywalker, who now is basically temporarily the chosen one.
So that's could explain why they've branded everything in a sense the way that they have. They've branded everything into sections so they could say, okay, this is the Skywalker saga, this is this is this. So then when they come back with their whatever reboot they're going to do, they've got a whole separate brand, and now the rest of these little cartoons and stuff is basically conditioning children to fall in line with their new reboot. Wow. Yeah. That is like mind control on a really, really bizarre and disturbing level. It's diabolical,
Yeah, it's some diabolical Dr. Evil type shit.
Yeah, for real.
We're gonna reboot it for $1 billion.
Yeah. I don't know about that. Can I get a retraction? I'm not that cruel. I wouldn't try to condition children, okay?
I'll be scot-free. Dad, it's a cool way of doing it.
I do have standards.
Wow. It's ridiculous.
And this goes on into like, you know, the High Republic. It also followed Star Wars. The High Republic revealed that one of the publication initiative's main characters, Avar Kriss, is the best, brightest, most noble example of Jedi Hood, a character that is supposedly in their prime 200 years before the events of the Phantom Menace, when Yoda would still be alive. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to develop that as well, because we do have Yoda alive during that time frame. But why is someone the biggest and noblest Jedi ever?
Noblest Jedi ever.
Yes. And then we go down to rewriting.
They got Yoda smoking ganja in the back room. You know what I'm saying? When you went on vacation, nobody's not running the show. What's wrong with these people?
Yeah, right. And then, you know, with the Battle of Hoth here, you know, like I said, you know, every single character, and even in Disney's, or even in George Lucas' era, even in the movies are the foundation. Every single character that we see has an important role, no matter how big or small. One affects the other. And so the rewriting of the Battle of Hoth also follows Disney's Season 7 of the Clone Wars Bad Batch episode. In the first episode of the season, Disney and Lucas removed the Bad Batch's ships. So there is another evidence there, you know. So whatever was produced with under George during that time on Season 7 now is remade to reflect Disney's Star Wars, which they have every right to, right? But we're seeing little things taken out to fit their narrative as well. So this is the end of the article. So each one of you guys, what do you guys feel about this? Looking at these little hints of, like, you know, rebooting of our beloved movies.
I think like it's sort of par for the course at this point, right? Like it's basically what you expect. Even though every single time it happens, you feel your soul die a little bit more inside, right? The more that they chip away, they just want to chip away at this thing that we love. And I do believe this is absolutely deliberate, right? Because if they can revise history enough, eventually the people who love it and are here to defend it, eventually we die, right? And so we're not here to defend it anymore. And so eventually we go away. And if they've done enough to muddy the waters before we're gone, then what's there left, right? What's left? So it's I do feel my soul sort of die a little bit each and every single time. Not that I think that you couldn't have referred to Leia as a general later on in canon after she'd had, I don't know, you know, the years that it would require for her to actually, be a damn general, for one thing. But to ask me to buy that that's the title that Leia would go by, because you want this specific empowered women narrative pushed out there, is ridiculous and disrespectful to the character I know and love, and disrespectful to the planet that we watched her be destroyed, right? The whole one of the big reasons why she was so crazy deeply invested in all of this fight in the first place, they killed her people. He committed suicide against her planet, right? Like, let's just completely undermine that giant reasoning for why she's even here at all, right? Like, your logic is bad. You're not thinking this story through, guys. You're not thinking this stuff through because you're chipping away and you're eroding the very foundation of this character to begin with.
Yeah. What Lucasfilm? I mean, I'm sorry. What Disney fake Lucasfilm needs to do is get new leadership in there ASAP. And if they're smart enough, and that's where we, the fans, come in, to really, protest and let them know with hashtags and everything else, need new leadership, bring back old canon. The difference is just that these 18 to 25-year-olds, people with the pronouns in their bios, and they don't know which gender or which lifestyle they want to flip on. These are the people that you're catering to right now. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that they don't have enough cash, or anything in their pocket to give you the type of cash flow that you want from the merch, from the books, from the this, not on a sustained level. We was the ones that generation by generation, we bought the merch, we bought the toys, we bought the Fruit of the Looms, we bought everything. And you don't see that type of money coming in. That's why Hasbro and Kenner don't fuck with them. That's why, little by little stuff is going by the wayside. That's why with the Mandalorian, they trying to throw everything in the kitchen sink to get the old heads like us to at the very least try to hold on. But there's really nothing to hold on. As you can see with all these revisions that's been going on, and we're going to be speaking about it on Twitter. We're going to be challenging these young kids that wasn't even alive when all of this was going on. So they ready to accept anything that Disney throws at them. And you can't blame them because that's all they know. So
unless they make the entire film trilogy all over again with little people, I'm not interested.
And the thing
they
is,
need to leave my movies alone.
I think the one positive we can take away from this, and there is a positive, is that regimes change and ideologies change. So right now, it may be the thing to push all these agendas and to force all these things on people that we don't want. But eventually, the pendulum is going to swing the other way. So maybe we might get lucky if we do a lot of the things that President Abu is talking about. If we do a lot of those things and we push, maybe when the pendulum swings the other way, we can avert this reboot before it happens if we're all still alive at that point.
I
And
would
you know
hope
what
so,
makes this
'cause,
timeless?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Now, I was going to say, speaking of the pendulum, another thing to add is that with the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back, I don't know if anybody noticed, but Shop Disney had a ton of original trilogy stuff on their site that was selling out extremely fast.
Oh yeah, I actually picked up one of the vintage. They have a bunch of Empire 40th anniversary vintage figures out and shit. I picked up a Yoda.
And tons of stuff.
Yeah, that stuff sells, like that. Sequel trilogy, that stuff is still sitting on the shelves, collecting dust. But the original trilogy stuff, they can't keep it on the shelves.
And George Lucas, with his marketing, with the OT stuff, when it's coming out, there was world records broken. He's even in the Guinness World Records of his marketing and selling these products because everybody valued it. The reason why everybody valued it is because how George made the structure of Star Wars. He used the hero's journey. He used Greek mythology. Basically, he used the Greek tragedy for Anakin Skywalker's fall. He used the hero's journey for Luke Skywalker. Those are timeless. Anybody of any race, any gender can relate to them because they are not specifically just for one race.
Absolutely.
They are specifically for everybody, the human race, to relate to. And that's what makes the PT and the OT timeless, is because of that.
I hate to do this, but we do need to get moving on through the show. We're already way over time. We got some super chats to get to. So hopefully everybody had a chance to speak on the whole Leia business and the retconning business. I know you did a little bit, Lorena. Did you get to say everything you wanted to?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay. And Mary stepped out for 2 seconds. So we're going to go some super chats. Scrolling back up, the last one we left off on was Arthur P. for $2. Says Star Wars is done. Nuke it from orbit. Yeah. Almost at this point. And then Arthur P sends in another $2. Did one of you ladies want to get that one?
Take it, Lorena, please. Because I'm
Okay, sure.
scrolling.
Sure. Arthur P, $2. Thanks. It may come down to average people making stories.
No, that's kind of what it has been lately. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I am still lost on this, so go ahead and go one more time.
Okay, so the next one is Crispy Critters for $2. Thanks. Toxic, sweetie, I'm nuclear.
Woo!
Oh, wow.
I like that one.
Let me give you some pork and beans, baby. You're gonna love Daddy. Daddy's serving you that extra plated.
And then Arthur
All
P.
right.
Daddy,
Send us
what's mommy
another one.
doing?
She's eating some pork and beans, son.
Oh, you caught up, Alora?
Yeah, so Arthur P at $2. Thank you again. Best badass woman hero is Ellen Ripley, Aliens. Hands down, yes. I adore her as well.
Yeah.
And I spoke about this before, and basically from like 77 or the late 70s into the late 80s, maybe early 90s is when we had such wonderful, magnificent female lead characters.
It's epic. It's epic when Ripley told him, I say we take off and nuke the site from orbit. You should have seen Reed. You should have seen Reed. He was getting low key turned on. Whoa. Hudson said, fuck it, eh?
Yes. All right. So I'll go ahead and take this one here. Caffeinated Wolf at $10. Thank you so much for your super chat. Current day writers have no concept or strengthening characters based on their own story arc earned merits. They must do it at the degradation of others. It's called bad character writing. Exactly, that's what it is, and we're witnessing it. Like I said before, Leia's already fleshed out to be a great character. There's no reason to ridicule others for her at all.
Excellent. So. Okay, the next one is Larry for $1.49. I'm assuming this is a sticker because it says a white unicorn with rainbow hair.
The imaginary unicorn.
There it is.
The imaginary unicorn that is the Snyder Cut.
Absolutely.
And the unicorn was riding through, baby.
They see me rolling.
I know, right?
Cthulhu sends our next super chat with $5. Killing Star Wars with every ounce of energy and discarding the MCU to buy political points. What's your guess when they stop digging corporate graves? Well, the MCU is on a real thin line right now as far as which way they go following Endgame. So we'll see.
Thin line between love and hate.
We'll see. Well, I wouldn't go that far yet, Abu Nas. One movie does not kill the entire franchise yet, but we'll see. But yeah, other than that, as far as like Star Wars, I don't know. Disney, they're digging in heels on some stupidity, but I believe there's a lot of the whole two camps over there where you got the Lucas loyalists and you got the Kathleen Kennedy loyalists, and
it can all change. It can all change. That's the good thing about it, though. Yeah. It could all change.
It's civil war.
If anything, if the Snyder Cut movement has taught us anything, it's that things can change.
Hey, what's that in the background? Holy shit! It's an imaginary unicorn. The fuck did you say?
Fully fleshed out too.
I never.
Oh, damn.
All right.
Holy shit.
Author fee at $5. People that want to rewrite films are cultural locusts. So rewrite as in remake them or reboot them.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I think is what they mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the great sayings that Doomcock, I believe, first coined. Referring to like JJ and all those people, and they really are. It boils down to it used to be that you used to be able to sell a movie on the merits of its director and its stars, and it didn't matter if it was a sequel or a prequel or anything. In fact, they used to be embarrassed about prequels and remakes. They weren't normally things that they used to do, and to the point where they would start dropping Roman numerals and shit at the end of the title because they got, oh shit, we're getting up to part 6 here. let's just call it the curse of so and so. And
Yes,
that's not even a joke. That's what they, to the point where to this day, I think that's where the numbers just kind of went away. They don't want you to know how many deep they are. That's kind of the whole thing. And then because before the last 10 years, sequels generally made a half of what the originals did, and then going down less and less and less. It's only been since the superhero era that we've seen sequels make more money than the originals. There was very few flukes previous to that where that had happened. But other than that, I mean, I think that there being cultural locus is spot on, because they have nothing else to sell, and the studios don't want to take any chances on anything that isn't, a well-known property. And that's why Disney bought Star Wars and Marvel. And that's why AT&T is getting behind the DC universe, whether it's, the Snyder Cut or what have you. And I'm starting to see where we're getting divisions over there now. And the rumors we're starting to hear, I don't know if you guys heard any of that reporting before you got here, Abu Nas and Zad, about, the little beef now between the people who are in charge of the DCEU and AT&T doing this. They see it as an underhanded move on their part. And
of AT&T?
Because I guess they didn't want them to do this.
Well, they're the boss. Give a fuck about your feelings.
I know, right? Well, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. How could you even think? I'm the boss. I bought Warner Brothers. Now I'm coming into the office. I'm kicking back. I got my chick getting my coffee. Get over there, girl. And I'm looking at the sheets. I'm like, what's going on here? What are y'all doing? Well, we got this little thing where we're going to put out Birds of Prey 2. And the fuck all that. I want something for HBO Max that's going to rock the house. What do we have? Well, we got these people running their mouth about some dumbass Snyder Cut. Snyder Cut? What's that? Oh, it's just Zack Snyder's original thing for the Justice League. Wait a minute, we had Justice League. Well, yeah, but that was the original director. Well, wait a minute. Wait. Let's see what they got. All right. They've been protesting for 3 years. They got all types of tweets. Subway sandwiches is with them. Wait a minute. They doing charity work? What the? These are paying customers. Why can't we give them what they want? Well, it's not really complete. Yeah. Zach, you got your movie? Yeah, it's complete. Get these people over here. Pay them whatever they want. Toby Emmerich, get your ass on the horn. Do your job, or all of you are fired. Oh, well, they're the boss now. We got to do what they say. Exactly. Trying to get this money, man. Stop playing games. That's why I love AT&T. They cut through all the bullshit. We know what you did with Zach. Right, we know what you did with Zach, but we're not gonna blow up your spot yet. But you better be quiet, follow directions, and make nice for the camera. That's why these guys from Warner Media, they was like, we was trying to work on this. I was laughing at the fact that they was actually saying this shit. But I said, that's all right. They playing good for the camera. And they said, at the end of the day, it's all about the fans. But it really wasn't. It really wasn't. The daddy came home, cleaned up house, and they said, we're going to get this money the proper way by respecting the fans and giving them what they want. They fucking paying money anyway. What is you doing? That's economics 101.
And that's the bottom line, because Warner Brothers wasn't cleaning shit up. So that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's like you saying, all right, I got this burger joint, and I'm going to give you the best burger that you fucking ever had in your life. What do you want on it? Well, I want some cheddar cheese, some guacamole, maybe a little avocado. Here, take it. This is the shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's $9.95. Oh, I'm gonna pay that. Ching ching. You want another one? Tell your friends. Exactly. That's how you get money, man, and that's how you get loyalty. Half of us already pre-ordered the HBO Max just on the cuff. We know it's coming out on 2021. Yep, we're giving them the money now.
Yeah, as soon as the announcement was made, I signed up. They got me. I'm going to be a lifetime subscriber.
Me too.
I could give you at least 10, 20 people I know offhand that did the same thing.
Just on the
announcement alone.
On the announcement alone. Now see what happens if you give us the cut. We see it. We blow it up. Then they're gonna be like, damn. Hey, the shit is off the charts. Everybody like, I'm smoking this blunt, man. We gonna party good tonight, boy. Yeah. So what else we got on the plate from the ODCU? Oh, we got Ben Affleck's Batman. We got Suicide Squad. God damn. damn, man, I don't know where it's gonna spend this money at. They partying, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, let's try to get Ben Affleck back. Oh shit, oh David Ayer, yeah, give him his director's cut. Who else do we got on the plate? And they're gonna bring Wonder Woman. They're gonna blow the house down. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit.
Well, they do need to fix the end of Wonder Woman. But anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Sent $5 to Feminine. Sent $5. I don't know if one of you guys want to grab that one or not.
Let's see. Yeah, Osmosis, $5. Thank you. Feminists have used Ariel as a bad example of empowering girls. Oh, and what about the boys? Look what they're doing.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I don't agree with that aspect of it. As far as like the negative connotation, I think she makes the choice herself, and she learns to live with the if she doesn't get her man in the end, she dies or loses her voice or whatever version you want to go by. But whatever. Anyway, yeah. Next one.
Next super chat.
Did we lose Laura here too?
I think we might have lost her.
Oh, okay. I'm here. Sorry, okay. I'm here. Okay, Mr. Mooney Blue at one at Australian 30. I'm sorry, but all this stuff about women co-opting men's lines, it's not empowering. It's like beating a game using cheat codes. It's not real victory. Far better for Leia to have her own lines. Exactly, and she did have her own lines, and they could have just used the scenes.
Yep, exactly.
All right. Osmosis sent us I skipped one there. DCB Titan.
Yeah. DCB Titan for Canadian $10 says part of the scene though is that Han wasn't taking her to the Falcon. He was taking her to a transport that was wanting for her. He took her to the Falcon after the tunnel collapsed. Truth. Very true.
Yeah, he said that. He's like, we're not going to be able to get her out that way. Yep. She's going to have to come with me on the Falcon.
Yep. Get her out of the Falcon. Yep.
Get off my plane.
That's his thing. And Luke says, get off my island. And he's all, get off my phone.
Go away. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Face the First Order down with a laser sword?
I don't want no Jedi Girl Scout cookies.
Pass the green milk.
I gotta go suck the titties.
Did you see the way he was squeezing the titties, dog? He was squeezing that shit like, ooh.
Oh, my.
She looked at Ray's like, you see this shit?
Look like a shamrock.
Sexually molesting me, man. He's molesting me. He got my nipples out and everything. Help me. Can you help me?
Literally like a shamrock shake. It was ridiculous.
Damn. Oh my God. That's what our hero was being reduced to. Sexual deviance.
Serena, go ahead and get the next one.
Yeah, Osmosis sent our next one. Yep.
Osmosis sends $5. Thanks. Then he says worse. KK, Kathleen Kennedy, has admitted that anytime they use George Lucas's stuff, they have to write him a check. Wayfinder, you mean holocron. Oh, wait, no, that's too much. $sign.
She did admit that. If she did, please email me the link to that. Because
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, we've speculated on that because we've heard things, but we've never had any solid confirmation.
And see what's in the contract then, if that's the truth, because they bought it for $4.1 billion plus. So why would that be something then if they would have to pay extra out?
Well, there is technically like a residual deal for like creating of characters and whatnot, but again, I would love to see that because then it totally like confirms one of our videos. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right, next one is Arthur P.
Okay, Arthur P at $2 to paraphrase DVD, the bestest ever. Yep.
Bestest ever. Ever, Chris.
Ever. Yeah, ever, Chris. Yep.
Lorena, you want to get the next one, or do you want?
Sure, I'll get it. Matt G for $5. Thank you. They are such psychopaths that they will actually remake the original trilogy, which decanonizes their own trilogy and Rey that they just made.
They won't care if they get to that point, but.
Well, I will rebuttal that. They already decanonized the 6 movies with their sequel trilogy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So Scylla Duel, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. $5. Appreciate you being positive about RTS or the Snyder Cut. No need for toxic. Love what you love and go find something to love. Yep, exactly. Be mindful. We can agree to disagree. We don't have to have the same opinions. We're not a hive mind whatsoever. And that's what makes our community beautiful. We're not hive mind.
Yeah. And you don't even look, it's not even that you need to back down from what you believe, right?
Mhm.
It's about that ability to believe what you believe, stand behind it, and not be disrespectful at the same time, right?
Exactly.
So, and that's possible. You can do that. And you can even like, I even love the debate aspect of it, right? Like when you get into a heavy debate with someone who you disagree with something on, you can still do that and still respect a human being for what it is that they think and how they feel about something. So as long as you can do that respectfully with one another, then I don't see anything toxic about any of it. Not a bit.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. So the next one is Matt G at $5.
So Matt G for $5 says, it may be true that Ahsoka Tano is the only character created under Lucas that wasn't destroyed. She hasn't been deconstructed or made to look weak.
I have a lot to say about that one as well.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
First of all, when you look at her character arc in the beginning, yeah, she progresses. She's put in the movie to give Anakin a sense of like loss is not, not bad. Attachment's not bad. Loss is not bad. Per George Lucas, and she was supposed to be killed off at Order or before Order 66. But now that they are bringing her back, they have brought her back. Her surviving through Order 66, well into, and we already seen her in Rebels and all that, well into the OT and beyond, really destroys like even the arc for Luke Skywalker, him creating the new Jedi Order. I also have a theory about that as well, is that she's going to become some kind of Force priestess or light side priestess, and I did a video on that. So, and she's already not a Mary Sue, but she's already OP in a sense that she's being placed everywhere and she can do anything now.
So what you're saying is that she's more than 20% different than what Lucas made her. So that's they probably don't have to pay him as much in residuals now.
Probably then, as well. Probably with that theory, yes. So yeah.
Yeah. Where do we leave off here?
Let's see here.
Let's see. Are we at Mike H? Oh wait, no.
Yeah, Mike H. Go ahead and take that one.
Okay. Mike H for $5. Thank you. Isn't this whole cultural appropriation? I thought we weren't supposed to do that anymore.
The rewriting of the George.
Yeah, Lucas. But it's fan culture. They don't care.
And earlier we missed a $2 super chat from Matt G. I thought I pasted it in the thing, but I must have missed it. He says that the best demotion in sci-fi history is Kirk and Voyager. So.
Oh. Yeah. All right. So Author P at $5. Last Jedi. Roundhead Ryan has an TT fantasy. So booby fantasy or whatever you want to call that.
No, actually, his real fantasy is a white man riding a polar bear, butt ass naked in the diaper, sucking on a bottle. He loves those types of shit. He love that type of shit. Makes me figure, man. I don't know, man. If you got a little sugar in your tank, then come out with it, man. Because you love posting them pictures of people butt ass in diapers sucking on a bottle. I don't know, man. You may be a little kumsa, but don't bring that shit in Star Wars, man. We don't need that.
Pow.
Arthur P for $5 says, Last Jedi Roundhead Ryan has an unfulfilled titty fantasy.
Titties.
Oh my God,
that's nasty.
How you think the space alien felt?
I want to know if Mark Hamill protested that scene.
Did you see his face?
For real.
Did you see his face?
The look on his face was priceless.
Yo, Yo, he looked like he wanted to knock the shit out of her.
That's a man with PTSD right there.
He's like, yo, he's contemplating it. He's literally thinking about, I want to smack the shit out of you.
Like, how much time would I have to do if I kill him right now? Like, oh, sir.
I'm kind of old.
Are you kidding me?
Who's looking?
All right, we got one more super chat, and then we got Twitter thing, and then we got to quickly get through our final story. We're going way over time here. I apologize.
Yes, we
guys.
are. All right. So author P at $5. I liked Rebels. Soft spot for Ezra and Sabine. Call me a nerd. Well, you can like what you like. We're all gonna like our own.
Nerd! I thought you meant Ezra Miller for a second.
Right? Did you want to fight? Is that the deal?
Wow.
You didn't like that.
I always thought they were going to get Ezra Miller to play Ezra Bridger. I don't know.
And then
live action, yeah.
Crazy Eye Jedi sent us a picture of himself wearing his Toxic Femininity shirt.
Oh, look
So
at
there you go,
that.
folks.
Oh, nice.
So that's what you guys got to do if you buy a shirt of Toxic Femininity shirt. Just send us a pic of yourself, and we'll share it here on the show. So make sure you tag me or one of the ladies in it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, Crazy Eye Jedi.
It's in the merch store?
Yeah, you can check it out in the description.
Okay.
Otherwise, we've got the links. Yeah, I'm sure I can send you the
Well,
link.
if it's in the
otherwise.
description on the thing, I'll
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to get one, too. That's great.
Right
Yeah,
on.
we also have Midnight Edge ones as well, so check them out. Our final story here is we're going to try and get through this quickly.
Yeah.
This isn't the original link here.
No, because if you go to the original link, look what happens.
404, bitches. Nothing to see here.
And even though we've got some Snyder fans here talking about doing somebody dirty, you guys got to admit they're doing Steve Rogers some damn dirty shit.
Yeah,
here.
they and that's the American hero, man. That's your American hero. That's Mr. Red, White, and Blue. How could you even think about doing something like that?
On the one day,
Deconstructed.
there's not a whole lot of days each year, whatever, that we all run around shouting America, right?
Right.
America.
Fuck
yeah.
Let us have our dang hot dogs in America's ass, damn it.
That is indeed
That is America's ass.
And he said it with such conviction, too. Like I said, I know Martin Scorsese looked at that movie. He's like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, Jesus Christ. Cut.
Good Lord. The 404.
Yes, the 404.
The 404.
Yeah.
Got the 404.
The internet is forever. Somebody already probably saved it. It's forever, man.
Well, I don't think Mr. Clark will be writing any more Captain America articles for a while.
So needless to say,
Caleb Clark.
The story has now become more so that they pulled this sucker down and they got bombarded by so many people calling them out on their bullshit, and rightfully so. CBR, come the fuck on. Of all the days
to do
Jesus.
Because first they pulled their tweet about this because they got lit up.
Tom, they kind of figured it's like, damn, man, we don't want to seem like we riding on the Snyder Cut hype train, so let's create a new puff piece that can draw attention to us. And then they came up with this bullshit, but it backfired. My God. Why would you even say that Steve Rogers was selfish? You could have got away with this shit if you not called Steve Rogers selfish.
Oh yeah, I pointed out earlier. You could have titled this Tony Stark or anybody else almost in the end. Because like his whole art.
Talking over the black woman, all right? So
yes, Lorena was talking. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
Tony Rogers.
I like that.
That is a badass name. That is a badass name.
I kind of like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers together. That would be delicious.
Yeah, gay lovers, and they adopt a little boy.
Y'all don't say that.
Oh my God.
Oh, they call him, and he grows up to be the Winged Avenger or some dumb shit.
Okay.
Fly through the air in an imaginary unicorn.
Kenny Rogers.
Oh my goodness. But of all days for them to put
I
this
quit.
out, they do this today. But I'll go through the first paragraph because frankly, the first paragraph of this whole digital fish wrap article is all you really need. So basically, Captain America is one of the most important characters in Marvel history. Well, duh. And without him, many of the great stories of the Marvel Universe would not happen or wouldn't be the same. He is central to the entire framework of Marvel storytelling, and Captain America is emblematic of justice, honesty, and perseverance, making him the ultimate culmination of the American ideal. However, you know the BS is coming, right? The decision for Steve Rogers to become Captain America is inherently selfish.
No, go on.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna need something to make anything that resembles sense. Please.
There is no sense. It just gets worse. Okay. Hang on. Steve was rejected from the military due to his small stature and health issues. But then his life changes when he's invited to join the Super Soldier program, which is how he becomes Captain America. However, again, the BS is coming. When removing the context of what he would become, the decision is selfish.
Now, hold on. I have to pause you there, Lorena. Let's make an argument by removing the context. Let me explain to you guys what an argument is when you remove context. It's called a straw man. Okay? It's not a real argument. What dumbass literally says in their own article, let's remove the context, right? That's not a freaking argument. No one who is making a sincere or genuine argument will ever, under any circumstances, remove context. You fucktard. I'm sorry, go on.
Okay. So, rather than contribute in the ways best suited to him, in other words, he should have stayed in his lane, Steve chooses to undergo experimental treatments to artificially enhance himself. Steve's choice to become Captain America is rooted in, hang on, a fetishization of the hyper masculine rather than an innate desire to do good for his country.
What?
Here it is.
What?
Anybody else seeing red now?
Oh my God.
Oh, wait a minute.
If you're hyper masculine, then you're not basically doing good for anything because, of your masculinity.
Yeah, right. Here's
Wait.
the toxic masculinity, guys.
No. I get it. Now it occurred to me. What? So it's a he. What's his name?
Right.
Caleb.
Yes.
And he said Caleb Clark, and he said
he's a soy boy.
Fetish. Yeah, he's a fetish of the hyper. Oh, I get it. He's a soy boy, right? He's white knight, and he's trying to get. Can I get a crumb of pussy after this, please?
Yeah. Imagine saying this about a woman. Okay, imagine for 2 seconds a woman chooses to go to the front line or wants to go to the front lines in order to do the most good that she feels she can do to protect and preserve her country. But she's scrawny and she's not up to snuff. And they offer her an option, an alternative, a ability to enhance herself so that she can realize that dream of protecting and preserving her country. Imagine saying this shit about a woman. People would fly off the handle.
Yeah, because they're saying Captain Marvel is the bestest ever.
Hashtag Doomcock was right. There you go.
But here, this is a white knight trying to get some love and a crumb of pussy, just a little bit on the side, please. I just wrote a great article saying Steve is selfish. Can I get some love? Crickets.
You serious?
Yeah, that's what these ladies were saying to Caleb. Oh, you serious?
Way that
Let's just remove the context.
I know, right?
Well,
Remove all that.
it's a leap in logic too, right? He's decided. There's no basis for his argument here. He's decided that this is a fetishization of the hypermasculine rather than an innate desire to do good for his country. Based on what? Citation needed, please. Based on what? Based on what? The fact that he deeply desires to go to the front lines and protect his country. Where are you getting this from? Where are you even getting this from?
Time out.
What is your argument here to say that this is about a fetishization of hypermasculinity rather than it is an innate desire to do good? Please show me where that is pointed to in any way, shape, or form in the movies. Please.
That sounds like that's one of Caleb's problems, and he's the one with the fetishization problem. Sheldon Strahl, is this for real? For the record, toxic masculinity is now officially classified as a mental disorder. If that is true, and some of the extreme cases of some of these wacko fucking crazy people who want to identify as dolphins and shit isn't, then I give up. I quit. I don't know if I can continue on being
So men dressing up as deer but posing to be a woman is not a mental disorder?
Careful. Hold on, my screen got pulled.
Yeah.
So my screen got
No.
pulled.
If they're gonna sit there and call toxic masculinity in their definition, I get what you're saying, Mary. Yeah, we got to be careful of how we word this, but
My screen got pulled over that mess.
I know.
Oh, jeez. So they protect that? That's what they protected?
Order 66 does. Yep.
I'm a toxic motherfucking nail by all fucking definitions of the conspiracy.
Jeez, wow. This country is going to hell in a handbasket.
In terms of this article, like being this background to this, they have no basis for what it is that they're saying. They make an assertion. They assert that this is a fetishization of the hypermasculine rather than an innate desire to do good for his country. But they assert this with nothing to base it on, right? Nothing that Steve Rogers shows us throughout the course of the movies is meant to point us in the direction of it being anything other than an innate desire to do good. He's just driven by it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just to add to that, it's like, correct me if I haven't seen Captain America in a while, but from what I remember in that movie, Steve Rogers, he was the shortest one, the scrawniest one. Mm-hmm. And when it came time to fall on that freaking grenade, he did it without hesitation and got people away from him. And that's what got him the attention for the Super Soldier program, because he wanted to not only serve his country, but he also wanted to protect his brother in arms at the same time.
Well, obviously, Caleb didn't watch that movie. All he saw was big muscular Steve Rogers. And what am I gonna do to get these ladies to look my way? So I'm gonna say, hey, he's selfish and fetishized, hypermasculine, and all that.
The problem with that is that you underestimate the ladies, right? Because ladies are critical. At least any nerd ladies who are going to give a shit about this article to begin with are going to be able to look at this and go, "You're a fucking idiot." We actually know this character. We're familiar with this character. We know who he is at his core, right? We've had a lot of time. So don't remove the context, because we know who Steve Rogers is, right? And he's ride or die. There's a reason he's synonymous with justice. There's a reason he's synonymous with this sincerity, right? And sort of this ideology, right? That is so incredibly genuine and sincere, right? He's synonymous with truth and justice and all of that stuff. And America, right? There's a reason you can get away with the joke America's ass is because
I'd go gay for that.
I love who he is.
Wait, oh shit, I'm on stream. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm canceling myself to the back.
I think that would be a perfect, subtitle for the times we're living in now, removing the context, because that's all it seems like these people are doing. All of it.
You're right, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Zod, you on the money.
And why? And since when is it? And someone please help me understand this mentality. Since when is it that we should resign ourselves to mediocrity? Since when is it that we should say to ourselves, you know what? I'm not really built to do this thing, even though I'm in love with it, even though it drives me, even though it's my passion, even though it's something that I would ride or die for. You know what? I'm not inherently ready or built for it. So let me give up on that dream and go resign myself to, I don't know, flipping fucking burgers in McDonald's, right? Like, what the hell are you talking about? Let's just go ahead and send life itself straight to the dumpster as we speak. Because I've got to tell you right now, nothing worth doing is something you're going to get to without work, right?
Right.
Let's just go ahead and resign ourselves to the mediocrity before we even start.
I'm
Sounds like a plan to me.
looking at Luke right now. Looking at him right now, he's like, Jesus Christ. I cannot shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up for like 10 seconds already. Okay, I'm good. Love me some Mark Hamill. Fuck this article. And fuck Caleb and his little white knight schemes.
Yeah, because you'll just see red the more you continue.
You don't even need to continue. Because, like I said, the 404 basically changed that narrative. It didn't work, homie. That's the bottom line.
Yep,
404, it gets worse.
You already did the damage. The internet is forever, whatever.
Exactly. Just
ain't even nothing to talk about because, like I said, ain't nobody paying that no mind. We already got the movie, man. We good. He's probably got somebody's panties in his little pocket because of this damn article. He did his job.
Yeah, and Rob and I over on Midnight's Edge After Dark, we always champion this film as one of the most overlooked Marvel films. As far as everything from the director to the story.
The first Captain America.
Captain America, yeah. Everybody always talks about.
That was a good ass movie.
Everybody always talks about Winter Soldier, but they kind of overlook the first film. It's like, hey, that first Captain America is great. I love Tommy Lee Jones. The cast is great.
It was. But Winter Soldier was on another level.
I love Tommy Lee Jones. I like him, but he's still too skinny.
Something just occurred to me, and I'm really going to need some help with this one. Now that I'm sitting here staring at this picture, when you put him in there, there's no way those pants fit. There's
no hell way. No. They pulled a Hulk with that one. You're totally correct.
Oh man!
Sitting here looking at
got super buff.
Looking at that dip on the side, and I'm saying to myself, "Those pants."
That's the picture where you say, ladies, you like your pork and beans with flavor, maple syrup. Yeah, Daddy gonna bring you some of that tonight.
Maple syrup? He's American, sir.
So what brand?
We got maple syrup in America.
Mrs. Butterworth.
Wow, Mrs. Butterworth. Yes, indeed.
There you go.
Yes, doesn't get any better.
When you put it in your mouth, girl, it's sweet.
I got toxic there for a second.
Oh, that's okay, girl.
Right there.
I don't fan myself just looking at those abs.
I was just going to say, we can tell that's why you need the fans. Fuck the weather.
I gotta hurry up. I gotta hurry up and get back in the gym, man. I want these ladies to be thinking about pork and beans with me.
All right. Speaking of pork and beans, I think we should we move on past this now that they've obviously been caught with their ass out. CBR decided to bring it down. So more idiocy than anything. I mean, I'm not surprised that they tore it down.
It was a good joke. Hardy fucking hard.
They're like, oh, you thought we were serious? Oh, fuck no, we're not serious.
They forgot. You know what? They forgot what today was. They actually thought
it's a Memorial Day joke.
They thought today was April Fool's Day. That's what they thought.
We didn't mean it, guys. We didn't mean it. We weren't really mad. We was playing.
Yeah, we was only playing around.
No. We like our toxic men.
There you go.
They're like, please coming to our digital fish wrap site, please.
Right, exactly.
CBR is worthless, Larry. You are correct.
Yes, indeed.
Oh my gosh! And then, there's been some great comments from you guys in the chat. Obviously, bringing up the biggest obvious irony of the whole thing is he fought in World War II, and to even go and make an article like this is just a slap in the face to not just Memorial Day veterans and all that kind of stuff. but just the fact that people like not the character himself because he's fictional, but people like Steve Rogers actually put their life on the line.
Yeah.
So people
Absolutely.
like Mr. Caleb have the First Amendment.
Yeah.
To say nonsense, utter nonsense.
Yes. Speaking of utter nonsense, because we got plenty of utters around here.
Every time I see
You
this,
really went to that, Tom, didn't you?
oh my goodness! Every time I go to that scene, I know Mark Hamill's head.
I'm not allowed to do too many clips, so when I do it, I gotta make the shits count.
I hear you.
He probably thought to himself, "I did not sign up for this shit." Right Look at his face. I did not sign up for this fucking bullshit. I got paid, and I'm fucking embarrassed. And just the fact that you still talking, your fucking ass is still talking. You ruined my career. You still
You
talking?
want to strangle him. Look at him. Look at how he's
He
looking
just
at
want to, he want to hook off on him so bad. Oh, I know, Mark. I'm feeling you, brother. I'm feeling you.
He was like, he was harnessing his inner Luke Skywalker, or actually his father.
He was using the Force.
Yeah, Vader. He's like, I
Going.
have a bit of Vader in me. Let me force choke this.
Oh my
Channeling
God,
it.
Lord!
I almost
please.
killed my nephew. You're next, motherfucker.
Oh man!
All right, we got to get to some super chats here. Did you guys have to duck out before we do, or are you guys still good for a little bit?
Yeah, you're going
Still
through the
good.
super chats. I mean, sure, we've been here up to this point. Let's ride it out.
Yeah, let's roll. Let's wrap this up here, folks. You've been so patient with us. We apologize for going so late, and I know
it's been fun.
My toxic female over here needs to go outside. So while you ladies are over here reading some super chats where we left off, I know. Well, you just have to wait.
Get him,
2
Satan,
seconds.
get him.
She's getting me. I think we left off on Lady Terrell's super chat.
Terrell. Okay. So we have Lady Terrell, $5. Thank you. Captain America is a proud culmination of all of our heroic men and women who fought for all of us.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Sweetheart.
Lady Toriel, guys. I know Toriel. Hi, Toriel. Love you.
Yes, Toriel. Yes.
Yeah.
Lady Toriel is my very first member on my channel, so I'm gonna be doing a special video just for her because I don't have nobody else that joined as of yet. So, Lady Toriel, you're gonna be very happy of the video I'm putting together for you. So, it's coming soon.
Awesome.
Lovely. It's going to be hot.
All right, so it's the next one is from Arthur P for $18. He says, "I love dolphins." So thank you so much, Arthur P. I'm assuming he's referencing Krista there, but I love dolphins too. And yes, dolphins are awesome, and I love pie. All the love to Krista.
All right, so GP Spectre at $5. Thank you so much. The captain was probably inspired by Audie Murphy, the most decorated soldier in U.S. history. He was so scrawny and turned away when he tried to join. Wow.
Okay.
You guys know anything about that one?
Not me.
Know that.
May have to Google it. Audie Murphy.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so we have a $5 super chat from Terminus. Thank you. I'm sure the armless P3N1 alien mechanic on the Falcon and the Rise of Skywalker was KK trolling us men and telling us that men are useless. D111CK $.
Dicks.
I'm a programmer. I'm being facetious.
No, and I got to go back to the Audie Murphy thing. Yeah, actually, he became a movie star. And yes, I think that's true that he did kind of inspire in a way. I mean, later on, maybe but at the time, I think Captain America already existed before that. So
yeah, I'm looking at him now. Yeah, they seen all his medals and stuff, and they said that was in 1948, wearing the Army Khaki Class A Tropical Service uniform with full-size medals. God damn, yeah, he was hardcore. God damn, that is Captain America. Well,
That's America's ass.
That's America's ass right there.
Terminus for $5 says, I'm sure the armless.
We did that one already.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, we
We
did
did the
that.
Terminus one.
Oh, okay. So Matt G for $5 said,
There you go.
as I told Ryan, they're redubbing dialogue in episode 4 to reference Ahsoka. Vader now says to the rebel who's choking, "Where's that low-rent twat waffle Ahsoka?"
Oh wow, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Wow.
Wow.
Well,
that was a heavy one, Matt G. Thank you so much. All right, shout back at $2. That's America's pork and beans.
I love it.
Yes.
Damn right.
he's not wrong.
Get it, Shellback. Get it.
Shellback is not wrong.
The problem is, though, after all those roids, it's all shriveled up.
It just killed my fantasy.
I'm
there.
sorry.
I know.
He didn't have roids. That's pure.
No,
that's
tell me
pure-
what that is if that's not roids, Tom. They injected
Roids
a bunch of unknown substances into his body to make him look like that's roids.
Roids.
Those are roids.
Okay. Stop a second. Whoa, time the fuck out.
It's
Just
roids
injecting
on
your
roids.
stuff. Just injecting yourself with steroids doesn't make you buff.
I know that's
You
why
have to
it's
still
roids
work
on
out.
roids.
That's the point.
Those
Is
are
it gives you the
steroids on
energy.
steroids. Okay.
Never mind. I'm not going to get into this argument with you right now because then I'm going to get accused of mansplaining. But anyway,
He hit a woman. You all saw it.
And he's
think this
probably
is-
man spreading right now as well.
yes, I'm man spreading like a motherfucker.
Be careful, Tom. You don't want to get canceled now,
I
bro.
don't care. I've already been canceled twice tonight. Arthur Peace is sent our last super chat. Says it perfectly. I dig Mary's insanity, and I do too. That's why she's here.
Yeah,
That's why I
she's
put up with
unique.
her. That's why I love her as
So
well.
You're fired. I need you to get
That's
out.
why we all do.
You're fired. I need you. Get back here.
It's literally in her fucking name. It's Mary Mayhem. It's not like you can,
It's right there.
fault it. It is. It's right there.
Yep.
It's like, Joe Dirt. It's in the name.
Joe Dirte. It's Dirte.
Joe
Remember Dirte.
Dirte.
Did you just compare me to Joe Dirt?
I was just the first thing I could think of is like
Because you have such a beautiful mullet on your top.
Thank
Greedy
you.
ass dog.
At least I tried. At least I tried, hey? All right. All right. Thrice now I've been canceled. Thanks a lot, guys. According to Holocron. I just want to make sure we didn't miss any last minute super chats. It doesn't look like we did. So again, I want to thank the ladies as always. And I want to thank Zod and Abu Nas for popping in here to talk a little bit about the Snyder Cut and some Star Wars and everything else. We appreciate that as always. Lorena, tell them a little bit about yourself as well, and we'll get out of here, and we'll start with you.
Okay, cool. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Lorena Creole on Twitter, and finally,
Hi,
Lorena Creole. I keep getting it. And also Lorena Creole finally on YouTube. Where I bring I know. Finally lit that fire under my butt to do it.
You look great, Alora.
Oh, thank you.
She always looks great.
Damn right she does.
So you can find me. Oh, let's see. Let's start. You can find me, of course, Monday nights here on Toxic Femininity. So I'm so glad to be a part of the cast here. Also on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on TR4, which is the pre-show to the Dark Council, and it's off of Stephen Walton's channel, so you can see me there. Also on Thursdays at 7 p.m. on This Week in BS in Justin Proper's channel. Also at 9 p.m. on Thursday for the Queen's Council. We're going to be on there actually with Laura. And on Saturdays at 7 p.m. for Rogue Entertainment. And of course, about every month, also on the Fandom Menace. So give me a follow on Twitter. Hopefully subscribe. And thanks so much for joining us.
All right, your link's in the chat there right now. Abunas, the president of the Fandom Menace. Tell them a little bit about yourself real quick. I got your link in the chat right now.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you to you, Tom, and our Toxic Femininity ladies for inviting me on to this wonderful show. Hopefully we've been entertaining and informative. I am Abu Nas. My channel is called The High Ground with Abu Nas, but the channel itself is Abu Nas. Go figure. And I'm pretty much one of the first wave members of the community that became what is known as the Fandom Menace way back in 2018 when The Last Jedi came out, and we YouTubers was trying to find a way to make sense of all of this. And 2 years passed, 18, 19, 20, 3 years passed. Here we are now. So I'm what is called an OG of the community. That being said, my YouTube channel, is predominantly Star Wars, but got some Snyder Cut love into it, other pop culture references. I mix and match, do what I do to try to entertain those and give some pertinent information. I'm on Twitter, which is my home as Gentleman Abu Nas Prime. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, I can tell you that right now, which means I don't bullshit, I don't, fluff up things or whatever. I give you the business and I let you know what the deal is. Other than that, yeah, I'm around. I'm known as the Raylo Slapper, the Shield Devastator.
Respect the president or he'll give you head a dent.
Yeah, the Black George Lucas, the Last Jedi hater, the Rise of Skywalker, True Terminator, and the Disney fake Lucasfilm regulator. I do it all in every way, shape, or form. So hopefully you enjoy my content. God bless and good night.
All right. Thank you so much, Abu Nas, for coming in here. I appreciate it 100%. And as to you too as well, Zod Writer, appreciate you stopping in as well. And we got your SoundCloud link in the chat there so people can check you out. Tell them real quick a little bit about yourself.
Oh yeah, you can find me on Tuesday nights on psn-radio.com where I do the Zod Writer Show. I primarily interview movie directors, actors, actresses, and just generally talk a lot about movies and various other things. And basically, over the last couple of I would say almost the last couple of years, I'd say my show has been primarily dedicated to release the Snyder Cut. But now that that's done, I'll be getting back into some other stuff. So,
all right. So check him out on that link there, and I'm sure you pop up on. I've seen you pop up on other streams as well. So
absolutely,
keep an eye peeled.
Hey,
yes, sir.
Tom, I just wanted to make mention because I completely forgot about it, and I shouldn't have forgot about it because that should have been the first thing I should have said. I am 1/6 of what is known as the Dark Council.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Pretty much, we are the commanding show on YouTube on Tuesday nights. So we rotate from channel to channel, but tomorrow night we're going to be on Drunk 3PO's channel, and we're going to light it up and burn the house down. So come and join in on the fun if you have nothing else to do. And that's about it. So thank you.
Speaking of, I got to talk to you about a crossover with the High Council one of these days. I've been meaning to.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, we've got Laura, the OG Star Wars gal.
Hi, everybody. I am your Legends girl trying to make it in this discanon world, and my channel specializes in George Lucas era of Star Wars, including what is now called Legends, the original EU, the movies, books, games, all of that beautiful stuff, even some fan films. So check me out on Twitter as well, and you'll see that I put on my Twitter a little fan film that is in legacy to the Legacy of the Force, Invincible, with Jaina and Jason Solo's duel, and he is Darth Caedus. So check that out. Tomorrow I'll be publishing my on my YouTube channel my lore video, book 1 of the Corellian trilogy based upon Han Solo as well. And Thursdays is my coffee chat, and we discuss the EU and Star Wars news. You could find me here on Toxic Femininity with the lovely ladies here, and Tom as well, who tries to keep us in line, but we pretty much give him a run for his money.
They want me into submission.
And then also you can find me on Fandom Menace once a month and with the Dark Queens Council as well with Lorena. And thank you very much for coming in and participating, people in the chat and listening to us really break apart all this BS that we are seeing that's, eroding our basically our culture through pop, our pop culture and our mythos with Star Wars, all of that. So thank you so much.
All right. I got a couple more super chats, and I saved them specifically for our Mistress of Mayhem.
There you go.
Yay! All right, so we got a super chat from Arthur P. He says, "Release the inner furry." Am I gonna have to do this like that?
Hashtag release the inner furry cut.
I appreciate that. And then Arthur P. again for another $2. He says, "Creole food is awesome. I may ask for some recipes." We can have to get with Lorena on that. I don't know shit about
Yeah, hit me up on Twitter.
There you go. Hey, you got a new show. I'm going to teach you how to cook. Good. Matt G sent $2 over 3 hours. Submit to the EFAP Toxic Femininity. This has got to be, I think, one of the longest ones. Have we done one over 3 hours before?
No.
I don't think we have.
Well, I apologize. Maybe it was just me and Zog.
No, well,
No.
that was a little bit of it, but that's all right because you guys brought an interesting perspective to the whole thing. You guys have been on the front line fighting for this thing all this time, and you deserve to have your say in this whenever it's being talked about. I even tried to bring in Ryan earlier, but he just finally got the message way late. Because you guys have all
we really appreciate it, Tom.
You guys deserve all the credit for
awesome
for
stuff.
fighting and fighting, and outside of Ryan having to deal with Jeremy, which is just them two being, it's one of those things where you guys have done it and you guys have believed in it and supported it, and you guys are finally getting your what you've wanted, and that's a good thing for fans. It's not a bad thing at all. So whether you like the films or not, like I've said a million times over, it's all about what the fans want.
I never had this feeling before. It's really can't even be described when you put work in something that even in the back of your mind you felt like it really was never going to come out. But you like the journey of the people that you meet along the way that love the things that you love. And we compare, we share, and go through all of that. But we wanted the director, Zack Snyder, to know that we appreciate the efforts and the things that you made, how hard you worked, how hard you and your team did your thing, even though, people didn't like it. But we was here to tell them that we loved your work, whether it was going to be released or not. And we just kept on. I think it got to a point even after the second year that just doing it, knowing that there was a community of like-minded people that loved this man work. Like we went to what is called a SnyderCon, in California to celebrate with Zach of his work. And in the audience, which was packed, we were still doing this with the caveat that Warner Brothers may never really release it, but we enjoyed that camaraderie, and it really became something of a lightning rod. The more we did it, the more we felt good in ourselves to show the world that this man did deserve to have his vision seen. And now the fact that it actually is going to happen, it's like winning the Super Bowl 10 times over.
And when you think about it, there's so many people from like all walks of life that got together for this, and it's an example of diversity in the most positive way imaginable. I mean, you can't get a more diverse group than what we had there. And it was insanely incredible.
Yeah, Istanbul. I didn't even realize they had people in Istanbul, some of the Arab countries and stuff. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. That was the thing that blew my mind away, but I knew it was universal. And like I said, it was not an ordinary thing. Well, it was ordinary like the first year, maybe the first year and a half. But once we started ramping up, the second year was where we was on a tear, and we was not letting up. Third year coming in, like I said, this year, it was like, okay, well, it is what it is. Warner Brothers is doing this thing. But when AT&T came in and everything changed, that's when we was getting the word, and then our heart was pumping because it felt like we was going through, the forest, the marathon, and we wasn't seeing anything but the journey. And now all of a sudden there was light at the end of the tunnel. and then we just ramped it up. And then behind Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, Ray Fisher, all the actors, all the Dark Side, the actor that did Steppenwolf, the crew, the cinematographer, everybody jumped on it. And it was apparent that when this thing finally reached the finish line, it was something to celebrate, not only just for Zach, but for ourselves as fans, for really putting our foot down and saying, we want to give you our money. Just at the very least, respect us as paying customers that you have to cater to at some point in order to have that done. And AT&T saw that.
Yep. All right. Well, Mary, why don't you tell the folks about yourself and take us out of here?
Well, hi guys. I am Mary B. I am the mistress of mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official Whammon card holder. You can find me over my channel, Mary Mayhem, where I talk about newsy news stuff during the week. You can also find me here on Midnight's Edge for Toxic Femininity every single Monday night, as well as Geeks and Gamers. So please feel free to come check me out. Had a great time tonight, guys.
All right. As always, we had a great time with you folks out there. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Hit that like button, subscribe to all these fine folks. And until next time, stay toxic.
Proving that the Fandom Menace isn't just a bunch of toxic males. It's Toxic Femininity, brought to you by Midnight's Edge, with a Laura OG Star Wars girl, Geeky Candy, and your hostess with the mostest, Mary Mayhem.